Rob Van Dam, listen to True Hill Heat. Pow.
Yes, it is Saturday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for some True Heel Heat. It's Double or Nothing weekend, so we're going to be previewing the show, the latest wrestling news, including WWE Money in the Bank moving from Alliance Stadium. We're going to talk about the latest with Sasha Banks and Naomi, the latest with Kota Ibushi versus New Japan Pro Wrestling, the recap of the weekly shows, plus much, much more. And we got a very special guest, Steve from Steve and Larson's Going in Raw. Let's get into some True Heel Heat. Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for True Hill Heat 177 Switch Up, discussing the latest wrestling news, including WWE moving Money in the Bank in July from Alliance Stadium to the MGM Grand Arena. We're going to be talking about the latest on Kota Ibushi versus New Japan Pro Wrestling, the latest on Sasha Banks and Naomi, recap of all the weekly show, preview and predictions for AEW Double or Nothing, plus much, much more. I am here with, as usual, the beautiful, the lovely Miss Krssi Luv.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's early. I hope you're up and getting ready. You got your cups. Cheers. Good morning, guys.
I thought she meant cups of coffee, but you look like you got the nice cup, the nice scissor.
It's just, no. It's just iced coffee in there.
Oh, okay, all right.
I didn't get that. I didn't get there yet. I've been drinking. Listen, I got drinking this evening. I'm no. I have to recover from yesterday.
We have with us a very, very special guest, someone I've been very excited to have on the show. One of the
yes, you. Oh my gosh.
Of wrestling media, one of the biggest podcasts in wrestling media, Steve and Larson's Going in Raw, the face of the Wrestle Juice YouTube channel, the master of all friendos, the one of the high priests of the Church of Friendos. He is the one and only Steve. What's going on, good brother?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. Usually I'm up by now, but on Saturdays, not quite. So I've got my second cup of coffee here. I've got morning voice. Like, very few people can like sort of differentiate between my normal voice. Like, my wife knows my morning voice. This is my morning voice. So you're gonna have this for like probably about an hour or so, and then it'll start to level up. Yeah.
No, it's great.
Then you're gonna start to get into the flow. Don't worry. It's
right. It'll ease you right on in, friend.
Yeah. I'm in the UK and it's 4 o'clock here, and I still have morning voice. So
is that your normal residence in the UK? Really?
No. Wifey got a place out here, but I've been here for like a month and a half, and I still haven't adapted to the time difference. But I'm happy. I'm happy to be in the UK.
I'm so jealous. My brother-in-law is from Scotland, and we went there 3 years ago before pandemic, and it's beautiful. I actually grew up in England for 4 years because my dad was military, and it's amazing out there. I love it out there.
You should stay, SP. It's for the great. It's for your own good. You shouldn't.
Stay,
you don't have to. Don't come back. It's okay.
Let me live vicariously through you, because
that part. There we go. Exactly.
I've been here for like a month and a half. I'm still not used to the time difference.
Really?
I'm a East Coast East Coast person by heart. Yeah, I'm still on the East Coast time, so I need to get back home. So I mean, I like it here, but trust me, we can come back whenever we want to. But
Well, that's the good part.
Exactly. I'm very happy to have Steve on the show. I was talking with him before we went on air here. We talked about, he's from Sacramento, and as you guys all know, I'm a main Lakers fan. So we had a conversation about the Sacramento Kings first time we interacted on social media. But I've known of you for so long. Your podcast is one of the biggest in professional wrestling. But for anyone who's been living under a rock, Steve, I tried my best with the intro, but please let them know everything that you do in this wrestling media world.
Oh, man. So me and my partner, Larson, we've got the Going in Raw podcast where we talk about wrestling. And I've got like my side gig is called Wrestle Juice. It's my YouTube channel. So that's there also. And it's kind of it. Like, we're just a couple of wrestling fans. We don't claim to know more than anybody else. We don't claim to be experts or have scoops, but damn it, we've known each other for 25 years now, since high school. And we've got some pretty darn good chemistry. So that's kind of what we bring to the table. We're like a couple of bickering old men, and we have a lot of fun there. We're like the grumpy old men. No, what is it? Is that what it's is that the odd couple? We're the odd couple. Yeah. Because he's very he's sort of the intellectual, the serious one. I'm more the clown. So we got a lot of good chemistry going back far too long.
And I have to say, your other biggest claim to fame, besides Steven Larson's Going in Raw, besides being a former Quizzlemania tag team champion from one Quizzlemania champion to another. I gotta mention that. But your other biggest claim to fame is you have absolutely the best Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonation in all of wrestling.
It's too early in the morning to be doing Stone Cold Steve Austin. Right here at the True Heel Heat podcast, you dumb son of a bitch.
That's all I got. That's all. I'm going to have to leave now. I just gave you all the energy I have.
Oh, my God. I can't believe this is really happening. Wow.
Don't worry. That's why I got
SP, how many podcasts do you have to do that you got Larson on the show? What did you do?
Man.
Well, Steve, we got Steve. We're not big enough to get Larson yet. Well, maybe one day we can get them both on, because we do a lot of fantasy drafts, Steve. So Steve and Larson's versus True Hill Heat in a fantasy wrestling draft. That's the goal.
We'll do it. Yeah, we can do that. I don't know if he's going to be able to make the 8 o'clock start time, because he's even more tired in general as a human being than I am. And that goes back to college, because we were in the same apartment in college together. That goes even back then. That dude used to sleep in. He would arrange all his classes so they were later on in the day. And he'd wake up. He used to make super cuts of Shawn Michaels highlights to sell on eBay. What? I think the statute of limitations on that is over. I think we can say that. And then he'd mosey on to class. So he was never an early bird. But if you catch him in the right part of the day, I'm sure he'd totally be down.
Okay. See, well, we will push back the time just for Larson's to come on the show, just so it's reasonable for you guys out in the West Coast.
I think he'd definitely be into it.
Absolutely. And we love all of our viewers joining us on our flagship podcast here. So, of course, remember to drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your friends. Subscribe if you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Got a lot on pack for Double or Nothing weekend. We got our watch along tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. You got Serving Face and Heels with Miss Krssi Luv and Stephanie Hypes talking about the latest in women's wrestling tomorrow at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time. And of course, we got to wrap things up with our Double or Nothing roundtable review on Monday at 12:05 p.m. Eastern time. So a lot to unpack, and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified, so you always get notified whenever we go live. We got a bunch of comments in the live chat here. Super chat donation early on from Vala B, who says, "Hey Steve, friendo here. Big weekend of wrestling is upon us. Let's do it to it, True Hill Heat crew." Thank you, Vala B, as always. And he's a friendo. We got
What's up, friendo? Everywhere. Thanks for being here. I tried to push this show out to everybody through the Twitter and through the YouTube community stuff. So hopefully we got some friendos in the house here. I saw a shout out to Mr. Dope. He's a friendo. He's here. What's up, Mr. Dope? At 8:17 in the morning, Mr. Dope. What are you doing? Because he's out here in Sac too.
There you go. We got the Cali people. We got the West Coast people waking up for some True Hill Heat. I love to
That's
see
what's
it.
up. That's what's up.
We got another super chat donation for Vala B, who says, also shout out to Jimmy Butler for forcing that game 7 and affecting the Double or Nothing card. I rooted for the Boston Celtics and it didn't work. You know how hurt I am as a Laker fan?
Man,
I had to root for Boston.
Like they should have won that game last night. That was ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I love a good game 7 though. Me
too.
I don't have a horse in this race, man. I love a game 7. I love a game 7. They're heading back to Miami for game 7, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They have to go to Miami. It's going to be.
Then I will be rooting for Boston then, because I love to see a hometown crowd go home disappointed exactly. All those people who bought the front row seats, the $1,000 seats, the $10,000 seats, wasting all that money on a loss.
I just think Boston and Golden State is a better series than Miami. That's just me.
That's probably true too. I could see that as well.
Don't get me wrong. I like Miami. I think they have a good solid squad. However, I just think for the finals and something different again this year, I think you'll get a better set of games from those two teams than that. You understand?
It's a different test for the Warriors, who haven't really been tested that much in the playoffs. But I honestly feel like Steve is only saying that because we're going on the 20-year anniversary of my Los Angeles Lakers beating the Sacramento Kings.
You invite me into your house? You invite me into your house. I was in LA. I lived there for 10 years. I had to suffer through that shit. During the regular season, we would always have the Lakers number during the regular season.
Yes.
And then what happened? We get a crooked ref in game 6. We had Chris Webber in the Dallas series go down to injury.
Yeah.
I can't. That was traumatic.
And back then, right.
Robert Horry was, oh man. To this day, when I see his face, I get angry.
And Chris Webber was the face of that team. Like that was like Sacramento was Chris Webber's town. Like that was what it was back then. And girls and boys back then in the 90s, when we were young, and these things were happening. This is what it was.
Yeah. Oh man, it was
early
2000s.
Early 2000s, right there.
90.
Beautiful time.
Okay.
Beautiful time.
Yes, it was.
That was the last three-peat in NBA history.
It was, right?
Yes. That's the last time any team repeated.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang.
I'm glad Steve is here to remind me that we're going on.
Wow. Immediately. We're 20 minutes into this. It's like it'd be like a 3-hour show and 20 minutes in. You can't wait till hour 2. You can't wait till hour 2.
Steve, this is what happens. We will just go off the rails and we're supposed to talk wrestling and we just talk about other things that happen,
You know what? Sometimes life isn't all about wrestling. Sometimes the most interesting stuff is not the wrestling.
Right.
It's true. It is true. Very true there. But we got to shout out everyone who's supporting us on social media and the YouTube channel and Patreon. Our True Heel Trinity on our group page on Facebook. Coming in at number 3 is Stewie Palmer. Coming in at number 2 is Jermaine Packman. And of course, number 1, the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson. Our Patreon backers, we got Vala B, aka Blind Roarer, Alan Weinstein, Nick Jackson, Alex McCarthy, Professor Chris from the NWA podcast, our guest last week. Thank you to him for joining us last week. Austin K, Slam and Sammy Joe, You My Boy Blue, Yachty, Robert, Steve Salvage, Antoine Rutledge, Fifth Generation Carney, Beat Boop, DJ Eric, and Ladarius Brown. Thank you to all of our Patreon backers. We always appreciate you for that. And let's start things off with what we missed from this past week, starting off with the go home show for AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday. They did 929,000 viewers. The show was highlighted by a hard-hitting main event with Samoa Joe defeating Kyle O'Reilly to advance to the Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament Finals. It was a hard-hitting matchup, a struggle between the two men, but definitely a great main event. He will now verse Adam Cole on Sunday at the pay-per-view. We also had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, beat Tony Storm to advance to the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament Finals. We had Swerve Strickland and Strickland defeat Ricky Starks and Jungle Boy in a great three-way, awesome three-way to preview the AEW World Tag Team title match coming up on Sunday. You had Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley defeat Private Party. They then got into a brawl with the Jericho Appreciation Society. FTR and Roppongi Vice, that went to a no contest as interference from Japan Pro Wrestling's own Jeff Cobb and the Great Okan, who is now a viral superstar, we'll get to that later, of the United Empire, laying out both teams to potentially set things up for Forbidden Door, it seems. We also had Wardlow, who was one of the stars of this entire show. He beat Shawn Spears inside of a steel cage, despite MJF playing MJ Ref in his best Shawn Michaels cosplay referee. We got a very good Thunder Rosa promo.
I want that referee t-shirt. That is amazing. I need that in my life. Whoever made that, wow, I want one.
Absolutely.
So
I agree
amazing.
with you. And then we got a great and compelling promo exchange with Hangman Adam Page and CM Punk ahead of the Double or Nothing main event, ending with Page punching out Punk in the face as Punk is in the world champion's head ahead of Sunday. Steve, what stood out the most for you on Dynamite this week?
Man, trying to make heads or tails of this Hangman Punk situation. I mean, that's the biggest match probably on the card. It's going to main event. Hangman Page, his story's been pretty interesting as champion. I've heard a lot of people in our orbit anyways say that they feel the Hangman title reign's has been a bit underwhelming. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm coming around to the idea that now might be the time to pivot his story for his first title loss.
Yeah.
And CM Punk is under his skin the way nobody's been under his skin. And I think that's what they're getting at. And I'd be shocked if Hangman was able to get it together enough on Sunday to keep that title. I feel like for business reasons and honestly for Hangman's story, it might make the most sense for Punk to come out of Double or Nothing as champion, and maybe as a bad guy champion, or at least signs that he's, as a lot of people have alluded to backstage, a manipulative son of a bitch. So that's what I'm thinking on that one.
Yeah, I love that the theme of CM Punk's feuds as of late is, you had Eddie Kingston say Punk's an asshole. You had MJF say Punk's an asshole. And now Hangman Adam Page says Punk's an asshole. And everybody's wondering, why is Page so mad?
You're right.
Because you guys are cheering for the asshole and you're not cheering for him. And and the whole story is really
upsetting
about
them. Yep.
It's about his main character trait. Page's whole main character trait has been his insecurities, and he's kind of tried to bottle it down ever since he won the title from Kenny Omega. Bryan Danielson got in his head a little bit with the draw, but he was able to overcome him. He was able to overcome Lance Archer. He started to show confidence against Adam Cole when he challenged him for the Texas Death Match, but CM Punk has basically brought out that main character trait once again. So it's been simple storytelling, but if you've been a fan for a while, you understand this is Page's character and all about his development. So I do agree with a bunch of what Steve had to say there. Krssi, what was your highlight from Dynamite this week?
Chris Jericho's glittery bell-bottom pants. That
they were amazing.
We almost seen his booty like 3 times. So I'm like, where is he going? First of all, he is a dad of a certain age. Where are you going with these pants on, friend? But that was one of my highlights. Definitely love the Swerve Strickland. That match. Oh my God, I was just like in awe of them three. Ricky Starks is just amazing. Yeah, Ricky Starks is just amazing, and I'm happy that he's getting these flowers right now. But I mean, that match was like my match of the whole show was good. But that was my match of the night. And then Chris Jericho's glittery bell-bottom 70s get-go pants,
Oh, that was good stuff, and I loved the Grand Wizard, throwing a fireball in somebody's face for just wearing a John Moxley shirt, and just him
Right.
saying, "I threw a fireball in your face because I'm a wizard." I
You
just
know,
love that line.
usually the fireball spot is saved for special situations. This
Right,
dude is
right.
backstage just throwing them at whoever he wants to, like he has an unlimited supply of fireballs. But then again, if he's a wizard, which we know he is because of those pants, he can
Right.
do that. That's something he could do.
It's basically
so good.
it's like his Doctor Strange pants.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Doctor Strange got the cloak, Chris
Got the
Jericho's got the
cape, yeah,
pants.
exactly. Yeah, they come flying to him and they just wrap him on. I guess
They
Not how it
look like
works.
that. They
Yeah.
basically look like that. We also had last night, we had AEW Rampage, which had Ruby Soho defeat Chris Statlander in a very good main event to advance
Mhm.
to the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament Finals against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, to massive boos from the Los
Mhm.
Angeles crowd, who
Mhm.
seemed to be in favor of Chris Statlander winning
Yep.
over her. Her promo before the match was great, so that might be part of the reason. Dante Martin defeated Max Caster after Max Caster had a really good promo as well. His rap before the match to basically saying that Dante Martin can't get girls. I guess that was the point of it. But Anthony Bowens had the best line when he said, "Scissor me, daddy ass." Best line of the night. Best line of the night.
So good, so good, so good.
We also had Scorpio Sky. He was presented with
Ooh.
a purple and gold.
Look at
Yeah, no,
that.
this was nice, man.
That is a winning time title right there.
Exactly.
That's one of the
TNT
ones that you can't like take outside. Like that's the one you keep in a mantle somewhere. This is gorgeous.
Absolutely. That's beautiful.
And he had the 8 and the 24 embedded on the belt pump. I don't know if everybody caught that.
I did
Yes.
not
And
know
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
so good.
And then
That's
he also said on Twitter the name of the belt is Genie, named after Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. Beautiful
wow.
touches. I thought that was like the cherry on
Wow,
top of
like-
all of this.
Can we get a TNT champion for like a year straight? Can Scorpio
Right.
he's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
he's
this
been
is good,
going
yeah.
since like what 2002 or something? Like
Yeah.
he's been going forever. Let him try to take
Just
that
do it,
title
yep.
to the same
Mhm.
heights that Cody wanted to take the TNT title when he wrote himself out of the world title picture. Make that Laker title. As much of a Kings fan as I am,
Right.
you know, I can appreciate I like LeBron too, so I can appreciate the Lakers. Let him hold that title and make that another top level title as opposed to what's been going on over the past 3 or 4 or 6 months. Let him hold that title for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's so many people
think
we
they
can
really
have feuds
should.
with. We don't need a multi-month feud with him and Sammy
No.
Guevara. So
Mm-mm.
hopefully after Sunday it's over, because we had on this show Sammy Guevara, Frankie Kazarian, and Ty Conti. They broke into the American Top Team gym to steal the BMF and UFC titles, and Sky agreed to a mixed trios match at Double or Nothing with the Men of the Year and Paige Van Zandt against Sammy, Ty, and Kazarian. You also had Darby Allin. He challenged Kyle O'Reilly for Double or Nothing as well. So we added 2 more matches to this card to make it 13 match
Not enough.
card.
Not enough.
Right,
We need more.
right.
Let's see
This
if we
is
can
going
fit 2
pa-
more
This is
in.
going past like 1 o'clock, like last one. I'm telling you, we're gonna be up late for this one again.
That's like
Mhm.
6 a.m. for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'll
I
be up into
know.
the morning.
You better take
Poor
some
me.
naps, friend.
But
Take
you
some
live
naps.
near castles. So that's a good trade-off. You literally live near actual castles
that's
in the
true.
UK,
So true.
man.
Yep.
So I
mhm.
think that's a good trade-off. I'm so
Yep.
jealous of you.
Yep.
You got me
Same.
there. You got me there. And
Right.
then
And you think, yep.
my favorite part of this whole entire show was the Young Bucks legitimately
Oh,
cosplaying as the Hardys with the debuting Gangrel. They had Matt Fax and Brandon Cutler as Lita, which was the
Yo,
best part
best
of
thing
this
ever.
whole
Yeah.
entire show for me. Look at this.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Is that even can YouTube show you're gonna get your channel banned? You can't show that on YouTube. Is this age gated? You can't show
Oh
that.
my god.
just great stuff.
Hold on,
They gave us-
put it back. Can you put it back to that? Can this guy start doing some squats? That's the flattest ass I've ever seen in my entire life.
Pancakes. Nope.
he even got an ass. He got a back down to his thighs.
Yep.
He does. What is that?
When he
He's a
sits down,
two-dimensional man.
when he
That's
sits
so
down, he
funny.
slides all the way off. He slides all the way off the chair.
Yeah. He needs
Oh.
suspenders for those sweatpants.
Right.
What is happening right there?
Oh my God. But yes, they defeated John Cruz and Taylor Russ as the Hardys, and then they turned on Gangrel before the Hardys made the save for their old New Brood member and beat up Lita Cutler after the match. Great stuff over there. And we
Yeah.
also had a very good opener of Bryan Danielson defeating Matt Sydal ahead of Anarchy in the arena. Miss
I wonder who
Krssi
painted his
Luv.
face. Yeah, who painted? I wonder if Jeff Hardy painted his face like in the back on, like, say, hey, I'm the only one that really can do it. Like,
Oh, it had to have been,
I got you.
Jeff.
It's
Let's talk about Gangrel for a second. Would you
Right.
guys have made the save? Number one, shout out to Gangrel. He looked
Yep.
55 in 1998. He still looks 55
right.
now.
Yes.
He is not aged, but he looked bad back then.
Yo,
Number
Stevie.
two, let me ask you something. Would you guys make the save? Let's say you guys, the two of you are in a feud, right, with
Right.
somebody, and your old running buddy back in the day comes out with them to mock you. Would
Right.
you then make the save for your
Nope.
friend if those guys? Thank you.
Nope.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nope.
And I did see like them talking to him a little and him like trying to apologize. So at least they did that. At least they
Okay,
threw
all
that
right.
in a
All
little
right.
bit.
Maybe,
Because
but
I-
I'm
I-
with
that too.
yeah. No, I'm with Steve. Nope.
He's like, I'm not helping anyone.
No,
Steve,
yeah.
what do you think about the Chris Statlander losing to Ruby Soho and the reaction Ruby Soho got at the end of the show? Because a lot of people, it became a debate, and it was like, I feel like people forgot like 2 months ago we were complaining about
Right.
Ruby Soho not being on TV, and now everybody's upset she wins.
Okay, but here's the thing. This is why those complaints exist, because if you don't feature somebody on TV, if they're out of sight, out of mind, and then when you do feature them, they're not featured that heavily. AEW has a massive problem with their featuring women's wrestling.
Yes.
You
Yep.
can't just have Ruby Soho in the company and expect everybody to continue to cheer her when you have
Right.
not featured her on your television program. Meanwhile, Statlander, I wasn't shocked that Ruby won. I figured she would win.
Right.
But the way they have been sort of re-debuting, repackaging Chris Statlander, look,
Yep.
everybody loves Chris Statlander. And she has everything she said in her promo, which, by the way, came off as genuine. And I'm sorry, I love Ruby, but Ruby's came off as very acting. Chris said, I've been here since day one. No title shots, no opportunities. Look where I'm at now. My friends left me. And she's made this big transition. This was supposed to be her time last night. I feel like this was an occasion where Tony Khan mistimed the heat on Chris Statlander. She's got that groundswell of support. People don't want to see, just because you made a name in WWE, even as much as we love Ruby, just because you made your name there, you can't keep her off TV forever. And then all of a sudden expect us to start cheering her. They want Chris Statlander. She's been there since day one. Everything she said in her promo is true. That's why people are booing. And Ruby had to try to calm them down. She was like, okay, I get it. You're booing me. But hey, Britt, you and I are going to hold on. Stop booing. I'm trying to cut a promo. So, like, what does he expect? You got it. That's why Tony needs help backstage, man. He needs help backstage.
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think that's like the big thing that not a lot of people talk about is the fact that Tony's kind of taking everything on himself, and he needs help. Everyone
You
needs
need
help
help, yeah.
sometimes. Like
Mhm.
you can try to do everything yourself, and yeah, it helps to keep the consistency of everything because it's one mind kind of having the final say, but this didn't work out well for WWE. You should learn your lesson when
Yeah.
when Vince is the one who's making all the final decisions. It hasn't been always the best thing, and you're seeing that with AEW. So I definitely agree with the criticism, especially of the women's title, because I've been saying it for months.
Yep.
Thunder Rosa got over by wrestling. Why
Mhm.
hasn't she wrestled since she won
Yeah.
the title? That's been
Yeah.
my big thing. So
Yeah.
I agree there.
And they give her
Krssi
time to
Luv,
just do these stupid they're not even stupid, but like they're pointless promos that don't even like get to even finish them. Like this last one she did was good, but like the other ones, like the back and forth with her and Serena hasn't been good.
Yeah, their strengths are not promos. Like Serena's strength is not promo. Her
Right.
strength is wrestling in the ring. I mean, that's what they call her, the professor. That's what she's good at. Same with Thunder Rosa. She can capture your attention by her in-ring ability. Like, let's just see them. I mean, they had a good thing with Serena for a while when she was doing that rookie challenge thing, because why? It showcased her wrestling. And now they just have them talking a bunch because I don't know why. I don't know. I want to see more wrestling.
Yeah, like I said from the very beginning of the Serena and Thunder Rosa feud, is that Thunder Rosa literally has a all women's promotion and trains her
Mhm.
wrestlers. Why not just have these rookie 5-minute challenges with Serena D beating up her students? That
That would have made more sense. Yep.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And if they're gonna cut promos, talk about the fact Serena D beat her for the NWA Women's World Championship. They never mentioned that once.
They never did. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I even
feud.
forgot about that. Yeah. Wow.
Exactly, because they don't remind us. If I'm
Yeah.
gonna criticize, I criticize WWE for the fact that they don't mention that Ronda Rousey revolutionized MMA, and that's why people have just forgotten that part of her. They just remember her as someone that hated the fans, and that's why she people online hate her. The people at their building seem to cheer her. I say this every week, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
have to criticize AEW for the same reason. But speaking of WWE and SmackDown, we had SmackDown last night, which we'll get into. Want to highlight a few comments here. We got Set E Nyangi in the live chat with us, saying shout out to True Hill Heat fam and Steve. Thank you, Seth, for joining us in the live chat. He also says, never thought I would hear SP3 complain about staying up later to watch a wrestling show because he's in the UK. Now you know our pain. Yes. I've been living it, Sat, for the past month and a half, having to watch Raw late and do a podcast after. Like this past Monday, I was about to quit.
Man.
I was about to quit. I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah, we tapped out of doing we're on the West Coast too, so we got it easy, but we tapped out of those Monday night Raw late night reviews at 8:00 at night, which isn't even that late. But like we tapped out of those because who wants to sit there for 3 hours?
Right.
Watch about an hour of total of commercials and recaps.
Yep.
And then sit there and review a show. No, man, we do noon the next day. That's even early for us. So yeah, no, I feel you on that one, man.
Do you do noon Pacific or noon Eastern?
I am not getting up. I am not reviewing anything at 9:00 in the morning. Nope. Noon. Yeah, 3 Eastern.
No, it's true though. No, because it's
8:00
very
your
hard
time.
to do.
Yeah.
10:00 on a Friday is so hard, Steve. Like to wait for
Mhm.
SmackDown to finish, and then I'd prefer to just do it on a Saturday, but I can't do it because we do True Heat. So it's a lot to like wait and just is everyone ready? Sometimes they're not ready. Then we have to wait till like 10:30, 11. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
when can we do? And then we would watch Dynamite. It would just be late, very very late. I'm sleeping.
And Raw was good the last couple of weeks, so it made it all right for me.
Yeah,
but
Raw's
this
been all
past
right
week,
lately,
it was a drag. Like you could
Yeah,
tell
sure.
they're struggling without Sasha and Naomi to drag
Mhm.
out two hours of content. Because Steve is right. When I watch Raw the following day on like DVR, it's basically 2 hours. It's 2
It is.
hours.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
because they have an hour.
Hulu,
worth
yeah,
of commercials.
exactly. Yep. Hulu like chops it in half, like not even half.
Oh yeah.
But
If you watch the Hulu version, yeah, they chop out anything 24/7 and Veer stuff. You won't see any of that. We got Will Chisholm who says SP3. I'm not surprised they turned on Ruby. The same LA. Well, this wasn't in LA. Don't be fooled by the acclaim.
I'm about to say
this
that.
was Las Vegas. On that same LA crowd did Ronda the same. That is true though. I think they have a perfect opportunity to do a double turn because I've been saying for months that Britt Baker needs to be a babyface. So I think Ruby should this whole tournament is to revitalize Ruby, have her turn heel, have Britt turn babyface. You got the Britt and Hater stuff coming out of this. Ruby can feud with her a little bit if they want to, but I feel like Ruby would be a good heel, especially with her talking ability.
That's a good point.
We got another super chat donation from Vala B here. Thank you so much, good brother, saying, hey, Krssi, you know who else likes pancakes? Great O'Con. I mean, I don't want to dick ride him, pun intended, but his Vegas adventure was great. Great. Can we talk briefly about Great O'Con? Like this man was panned when he was debuted, panned universally across everywhere I saw. But this man, I think it was like a month and a half, 2 months ago, saved the kid's life from a pedophile. That made me be like, okay,
Wow.
I'm a Grado stan. I'm a Grado stan for
mhm.
that. But then seeing him in Vegas, it's like, how can you not like Grado Khan?
Do we have any of the pictures from his Vegas adventures?
Please.
See, our producer right on cue, right on cue.
There's
we have the pictures we can show.
Yeah, there's a couple more explicit. He's getting spanked there.
That's about the extent of the pictures I can show.
And so I have one here, and
I have to go look at it. I have to look at it now.
It's totally safe. It's totally safe for TV, but I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. But there's a giant, what is this, 4-patty burger that might be more explicit than the cheeks he was grabbing. Yeah. At this point, he's the Godo Khan. I like everybody else. Like, oh my, it's just handfuls right here. I can't show that. He's the Goat Khan, and I was the same way. I was like, who is this guy with the giant ear, or is it a question mark on his face? I don't know what's going on with this guy. His wrestling is whatever. He's got this goofy claw, but man, ever since he saved a little kid, I've been on board the Great Khan, and then I see him literally writing. I can't even say this on YouTube because your channel will get banned. You guys got to see it to believe it. Go to his Instagram. This man is my new role model. At 44 years of age, I have a new role model. His name is the Godo Khan.
The Goat Khan, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag it. Put it on social media. The Goat Khan. Yes, he is a viral superstar, and I love every minute of it. But we got another comment feature here. Why didn't the Hardys get mad at Gangrel? He was just in the Bucks corner, says Nick. I mean, we've all said it. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. And look at this, because we have Brandon Cutler not playing Lita, but playing Manny Santos from Degrassi. We got Manny Santos in the live chat with us. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Manny, for taking claim of Brandon Cutler dressing like you. You're an icon, and we appreciate your fashion choices because you motivated Brandon Cutler from last night. But yes, Brandon Cutler, the Godo Khan, those are my heroes after this week in AEW for sure.
Yep.
And E Vampire saying everyone is a Great Khan stan. Yes, I'm the Great stan.
The fact that he had that certificate, that frame certificate from the cops for being a hero, and he's using that for his heel persona, saying, see, I am an arbiter of justice. When doing bad things, when doing heel things, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
There you go. It's all about Great Khan this week. He's my MVP of the week.
Absolutely.
Definitely an MVP.
But like I said, last night we also had WWE SmackDown. You had the Usos were challenged by Shinsuke Nakamura and Riddle, who have formed their own tag team after their partners were assaulted over the last couple of weeks. I guess Randy's okay with this.
Riddle said it was Randy's idea.
He did.
He did, but I
it was Randy's idea, man.
Randy said I could do this.
It seemed kind of quick, a quick turnaround for me. I don't know.
I mean, it is very quick. I figured they'd like give it a day. I mean, a week or two. But hey, whatever.
Hey, fair enough. But we also had the other prominent Bloodline member, Sami Zayn. He was the special guest on the Kevin Owens show, where
this
was great stuff. This was amazing. Like that part of the show made SmackDown.
They had the best chemistry. They just had the best.
They do.
No, you're a liar. No, you're a liar. You're not even a part of it.
You're a moron. You're a liar. You're a liar.
Leave me alone. Like
liar, pants on fire. My pants are not on fire.
You went too far.
Well, yes, the two delusional friends argued over Elias and Ezekiel being the same person, and whether Sami is really a part of the bloodline. My best part was Sami Zayn calling Kevin Owens Oos. That was just how subtle.
Did you just call me Oos? Did you just call me Oos?
Just how subtle he did it. I was just like, wow. I was like, that was great. That was just great. He also had Ronda Rousey and Raquel Rodriguez beat Natalya and Shayna Basler after the heels interfered in the babyfaces singles match at the behest of Shotzi Blackheart, who rallied each other up and then got locked in her locker room by Aaliyah.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
That was a thing. Yep, that was a thing, guys.
The whole feud, based on locking people away.
Right.
The New Day revealed Drew McIntyre as their biggest surprise, tag team partner to beat the Brawling
surprise?
Brutes. No, that was
No,
sarcasm.
exactly.
Pretty obvious. Seemed pretty obvious. But
And
you know,
I'm like,
I love Pat McAfee because he was saying everything I feel like the New Day should have been saying. He was calling him, instead of Big E, Big D. Drew Day. We had to rely on Pat, who is a gem and a treasure, by the way, to give us all that.
Yep.
Where was Xavier and Kofi with all these great puns for Drew McIntyre? And I feel like Drew should have shown up with a kilt that was the teal and pink New Day colors.
Oh, that would have been so good. Yes. Yep.
As much as I appreciated the dancing, we need a little bit of Drew twerking at the end there.
Yes. He gotta put his back into it. You know,
a little bit. Yeah, I feel like he does.
You can do it. He can put his back into it. Yes, absolutely. In my opinion, he could. Yes, the Drew Day, as I put that tweet out first, and then Michael Cole said it. So I think he saw my tweet.
Credit is due.
Thank you. WWE NXT.
Wait, the Great O'Connor is riding on a.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Dick. You could say it, you just can't show it.
There we go. Our producer.
Yeah, it's a giant, right? Yeah, it's a giant mechanical.
But the funny thing is, I want to go too now, though. I need to find this place in Vegas.
Hey, if you want,
wow.
Just get into Goto Khan's DMs, and I'm sure he'll point you the right direction.
Yo, this is hilarious.
That way, maybe do something. We got one more comment on SmackDown. We got Ryan, who says Jimmy looked super intense while Jay was cutting the promo. I wonder if Jimmy was gonna bring up Naomi. I doubt that. No, I think it was just for them to do the little swerve at the end, which didn't make too much sense, because you're either go and say, oh, we thank you for absolutely nothing, or you say, we needed only each other, not the fans. They basically said thank you for all your support for 12 years, and then said we didn't need any of you. I was like, no, that contradicts what you just said. I was like,
yeah, it was a little on the lazy side. Maybe if Heyman was there, he could have put them in a more original direction, because we've seen that kind of promo before.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Annika saying, riding on a what, Krssi? We also got Vala B, who says a giant mechanical penis. Yes.
Oh, all right. That's what it was.
That's the
in case anybody was curious about that.
The correct way. The correct way.
Oh no, you got to do the other one. The other one is much better. Yep.
Ash
that one.
Finesse, the D machine.
That one. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's the better one. Yep.
NXT 2.0, they did 551,000 viewers this week. The show was highlighted by Braun Breaker getting himself disqualified against Duke Hudson in the main event, thanks to more mind games from Joe Gacy. You also had Nikita Lyons, unfortunately, was announced as being removed from the women's breakout tournament after she revealed to have a partially torn MCL. She was replaced by Tiffany Stratton, who beat Fallon Henley to move on into to the finals of the women's breakout tournament. She will face Roxanne Perez, who defeated Lash Legend in the semifinals. Mandy Rose beat Indy Hartwell and then was hit with a sack of balls in the face. Yes, literal sack of balls. We talked about the
ball sack there.
Exactly. We've talked about the D machine and now a sack of balls.
Where's Goto Khan? He should be in NXT. That is NXT is the horniest show in wrestling. It really is. I appreciate on that show is horny as all get out. Where's the Goto Khan? He needs to be signing up for NXT. He's like, change my name. That's fine. I don't care. I want in on this. Goto Khan wants some toxic attraction.
Exactly. I was about to say, like, he wants to visit the toxic attraction. He was the toxic lounge. He would fit
Yep.
right in there.
Yep.
Wendy Choo challenged Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's title at In Your House next Saturday, while Toxic Attraction were challenged by Kaden Carter and Katana Chance for the women's tag team titles. Steve, what do you like about NXT 2.0 since the rebrand, besides all the horniness?
Man, I actually, it's funny because I used to be super anti NXT because I was a big fan of the gold and black brand. But I really appreciate how they've turned it into basically like, I mean, I call it the horniest show, but it has very much sort of like, I don't know, a high school / college atmosphere. And I really appreciate that aspect of it. A lot of the characters are goofy, but I feel like there's a place for that in pro wrestling that doesn't really exist too much in WWE. I like the little things, to be honest with you. Like, you know, on main roster and I bring this up because they used to be in a tag team together, but you have Veer on main roster, who I feel like they're doing a disservice to. He's a monster, but he talks like a monster too. And I think it'd be much cooler if he was a monster who is like either soft-spoken or articulate or something. You have that in NXT with the Sangha character, who I know he's like a bit player, but last week when he saw him in a very calm voice, try to talk to Wesley and Nathan Frazier, say, look, I don't think there is any guys your size are not going to, et cetera, et cetera. And Wesley pops off on him. Well, Song is like a gentle giant. I like that amount of nuance in my characters, and I feel like they're starting to come around to that in NXT, and I like how they've been able to pivot Wesley into a guy, and they obviously haven't explicitly referenced the Nash Carter stuff, but now he's on his own. He's trying to figure that out, and Song is going to be helping him. I like those little stories along the way. That's the kind of stuff that the Braun Breaker Gacy stuff does nothing for me. The Druids are going to be, sadly, end up being the grizzled young veterans, which bums me out because I was a huge fan of them. But no, there's a lot of little things. I think Tiffany Stratton, her character is one-dimensional. Hopefully they will add some layers to that because she is coming along in the ring. I like her finisher. The twisting Vader bomb is actually a really cool finisher, and her in-ring stuff is coming along really, really well. So I like, and I think that they see that, which is why they put her in this tournament. So yeah, those are the things that sort of stand out to me as things to pay attention to. So I like how the characters are starting to build relationships, and it's feeling like one big show as opposed to a bunch of separate things happening all on their own. I like that everybody sort of interacts with everybody. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I just love the emphasis on the women's division in general. Like,
true,
it always
absolutely.
features
only
so
on that
many
one.
women. Yeah, the women are like
brand.
the highlight of the whole brand.
I think last week, it was last week or 2 weeks ago, every match featured women. There was like, I think one mixed tag match, but otherwise it was all women's matches. And it was like, okay, there we go. That's nice. That's refreshing to see.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be counting. Like, they had like 21 women featured on that one episode. It's just, it's always very, very women centric. Romeo?
Steve, can you repeat what you said about Goto Khan in NXT?
I wanted to see, did I cut out or something? Because I want to see.
This is a setup.
It's okay. Yeah, I think, NXT being the horniest wrestling show on TV would be perfect for the Goto Khan. Goto Khan wants a piece of that. Oh, there he is. There he is. Look at the speed with which Romeo delivered that. He's got the ball sack right there with Wendy Choo. That is
oh my god,
well
I can't. Wow. Why?
He wanted to get hit with the sack of balls. He wanted to get that.
One of the ball sack.
Cheeks on cheeks, as Annika said.
Cheeks on cheeks.
The cheeks on cheeks show. We also have Raw this week. They did 1.732 million viewers. The show featured Becky Lynch defeating Asuka to make the Raw women's title match at Hell in a Cell a triple threat match. You had Riddle and the Street Profits beat the Usos and Sami Zayn in a fun 6-man tag team opener after Randy Orton was announced as out with a an injured back. You also had Cody beat Miz by disqualification, and then after the match, it was Seth Rollins and Miz that jumped Cody, and then Seth stole the Cody leather belt from a fan
kid.
and whipped
Mhm.
Cody
Child,
with it.
yeah.
Yes, a damn child. What a heel! What a heel! And of course, Cody,
Great
the baby
stuff.
face, gave it back to the kid because he is
Yep.
America's sweetheart. What was the highlight of the show for you, Miss Krssi Luv?
I love that I love Seth freaking Rollins, the character. This is like one of his best at his best. And him just yanking not even just like saying, give it to me. He yanked it from the child's hands and went and slapped the hell out of Cody in the back. Such great shit. I mean, and then Asuka accidentally kicking Bianca in the face, which was great stuff because of Becky Lynch. All good stuff.
Yeah. That was the highlights of the 3-hour show. Those 3 segments.
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
I thought Riddle's opening promo with Randy. I thought that, you know, Riddle's come a long
good.
way
Yes.
from the days of him just being a rambling stoner. Now he's a stoner with emotion, and I like to see different sides of characters. And his opening promo, where it looked like he was on the verge of tears, talking about how Randy's not been doing well the past couple of months. He's had a bad back injury and he's been pushing through it for the benefit of RK Bro, for his benefit. I thought that was really, really well done. And if they're going to do if Riddle's going to be the bloodline hunter now, culminating in a Money in the Bank match against Roman Reigns, which is maybe where this is going, I think they're setting that up pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we're going to talk about Money in the Bank because there's a lot to talk about in regards to that show. The last couple of things that we missed during the week, you had New Japan Pro Wrestling, Best of Super Juniors, some great matches over the last week. El Lindaman beat El Desperado, Despy beat Wheeler Yuta, Hiromu Takahashi beat Impact X Division champion Ace Austin, Yo defeated Hiromu in the best and the longest match of the tournament. Robbie Eagles defeated El Phantasmo, and then Ace Austin, who's probably been the most protected and kind of the MVP of the tournament so far. He defeated Taji Ishimori, the IWGP junior heavyweight champion. So the A block standings have Ishimori and Ace Austin with 10 points, and the B block is led by El Phantasmo and El Dorado with 10 points. Best of the Super Juniors, I've been trying to catch up. I'm like one show off, but some really great action over the last week. A lot of guys that I didn't think were standing out before are standing out. Like El Phantasmo has been great. Like I said, Ace Austin, Alex Zane as well. The Americans, it's been a very great addition having like the foreign talent in Japan for this.
They seem to love Ace Austin, and I love to see that because this dude is so much. I have not watched a lot of the Best of Super Juniors, but I've seen a couple of his matches from the Best of the Super Juniors, and you can tell he is having the time of his life as well. And he's really given everything he has in that ring, putting on some killer matches. It would not shock me whatsoever. He's a young dude. Maybe he'd want to go full-time in Japan. It would not shock me if New Japan wanted to sign this guy away from Impact. I don't know what his deal is like over there, but it wouldn't shock me to see a lot more of Ace Austin in New Japan.
Yeah, and this is another one with Alex Zane and Ace Austin on social media. They're doing the inverse of Great O'Con in Las Vegas.
Like a student exchange program, yeah.
It basically is. They're having a great time in Japan. Alex Zane with his taco, trying to find Taco Bell in Japan, which is great on social media.
Great.
Speaking of Alex Zane, you had GCW this past week. They had the Maniac Show. Speedball Mike Bailey beat Masha Slamovich in a tremendous match. You had Bandito defeat Nick Wayne in a high-octane banger. You had Bussy, your favorite, Miss Krssi Luv. They beat the Samoan Savages to retain the GCW World Tag Team titles. And then the most notable thing on the show, you had Drew Parker defeat Joey Janela in the main event. And in that match, Joey Janela did a flaming super kick with his boot on fire and nearly couldn't put the fire out. Of course, Booker T, our favorite analyst in the world, said that this was the stupidest thing he's ever seen in wrestling. Steve, where does it rank for you?
Oh man, probably not even top 10, to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen a lot of stupid shit in wrestling, man. And I know Booker T has as well. I mean, he was there in WCW in the year 2000. I think Vince Russo winning that title was probably close to the number one spot for me. But I think what was extra stupid about this was the fact there was no fire extinguisher. I was at the show in that building earlier in the day for LA Fights because I was visiting LA. And I'm glad that I didn't have to suffer through another fire incident. Another stupid thing I've seen in my life back in 2000, I was at the XPW show in LA where Supreme got caught on fire, and they put out the ring before they put him out. So I've been around fire and wrestling. I don't like it. I was glad I wasn't there, but this doesn't even rank in the top 10 for most stupidest things in all of wrestling.
Not even close for me. I mean, it was stupid not to have the fire extinguishers. I definitely agree with you. Water does not work like that. I just want to let GCW know that kind of
it'll make it worse.
Makes it worse. Yes. And then finally, Impact on Access TV. They had Violent by Design defeat Josh Alexander and the Briscoes in a 6-man main event. The Briscoes were challenged by the Good Brothers for the Impact World Tag Team titles. That's going to be at Slammiversary. Trey Miguel beat Alex Shelley to advance to the X Division title Ultimate X match, and Honor No More interfered to break up the Impact throwback match of Chris Sabin versus AEW's own Frankie Kazarian. But that leads us to our news rundown, because we had some WWE news that we got to get to on this show here. It appears WWE Money in the Bank 2022 is no longer being held at Alliance Stadium, the home of last year's SummerSlam event. The PW Insider reports that according to sources within WWE, the event will be moving out of Alliance Stadium to MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Additionally, Fightful Sean Ross Sapp reports that WWE also sent out the following email to fans that the event will now take place at MGM Grand, confirming the move. And an internal memo was reportedly sent today by WWE, which said Money in the Bank will now be held at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and the event will still be held on July 2nd. The report also notes that the ticket holders for Money in the Bank at Alliance Stadium will be granted access to an exclusive pre-sale to purchase tickets for the newly moved event first before tickets go back on sale to the general public. But everybody will be refunded with their tickets from Alliance Stadium, and they sold more tickets than what's available at the new arena, which makes this a very glaring move by WWE. This is the first time in 31 years that WWE was forced to move a planned stadium show to a smaller sized arena since WrestleMania 7 in 1991, when they had bomb threats moved the show. That event was originally scheduled for the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum before moving to the LA Sports Arena. WWE stated at the time that the event will be moved as a result of security issues, and WWE Money in the Bank 2022 is scheduled for the same night as UFC 276, which is during International Fight Week. That's going to be at the larger T-Mobile Arena. Money in the Bank for Alliance Stadium was part of a plan for WWE to hold premium live events in larger, grander venues. And previously, WWE announced that back at SummerSlam 2021, and a promo video was released for the show during WrestleMania Backlash, showing Cody Rhodes inside Alliance Stadium talking about this year's Money in the Bank winner would have a chance to headline WrestleMania 39. And now the video has been set to private on WWE's YouTube channel.
Whoops.
Oh my God, I can't.
Then
What
we
an
must
idiot.
I've forgotten all about it then. It's not in existence anymore. Look at that.
It never
it's
happened. They're gonna
gone.
zap you
Never
like
happened.
Men in Black.
Yeah, I was like the Will Smith. They got the Will
Yep.
Smith pen. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that, as you might have guessed, the reason the show was moved was due to a lower amount of ticket sales than expected
Shocking.
for a stadium show.
Right.
However, it's believed that WWE did end up selling more tickets than would fit in MGM Grand Garden Arena. That is likely why WWE didn't just transfer the tickets over to the new arena. It was also noted that ticket holders were given a password that would give them priority for new tickets in a pre-sale on June 2nd, but that password has already been leaked to non-ticket holders, so it's possible that those who originally had a ticket for Money in the Bank will no longer be able to attend. Ticket holders
Why
were
didn't they just do an
told
automatic transfer and just say, "Hey, your ticket has been transferred to"? Okay, never mind.
because they can't do it for everybody.
Because there's too many tickets sold versus what's available in the new venue. So if people have made travel arrangements, there's like an overlap of like 6,000 or 7,000 tickets that people had purchased Now they're going to be out. There's going to be a mad musical chairs-esque scramble, especially now that the password's leaked. This is not shocking. WWE, there's no way they can run 8 stadium shows each year. I mean, that's basically one every month and a half. The demand for professional wrestling is not there. It was never going to be there. This isn't 1998 anymore. This was never going to work. This was never going to work.
That 2 in the same month.
2 in the same month.
Exactly.
First of all, why do we have 2 pay-per-views in the same month? It doesn't make any sense. Like, just make Money in the Bank later. Like, you don't have to have them back to back. This is good for them. This is what they deserve. Stupid.
This would have made sense in 2000, not 2022.
Yeah.
According to
SB3, I was just going to say that it's a Allegiant Stadium, not a Lion Stadium.
Oh, Allegiant.
Sure we got it right.
Excuse me. Sorry. Thank you. According to WrestleTix, there were 17,924 tickets out before the news, although a chunk of those would have been comped and or held back, and they were only expecting around 25,000 to 30,000 for the show. Finally, the reason WWE didn't go to T-Mobile Arena was because of the UFC event, and of course, Tony Khan couldn't help himself from taking a shot at WWE over there moving Money in the Bank from the stadium. And the AEW president posted to Twitter on Friday talking about his busy day yesterday. And I quote, he said, "Yesterday was one of my favorite days, including great visits with fans plus media, a trip to LA for the most fulfilling meeting of my life with Warner Discovery leadership, dinner with my dad and Dana White, where I got to break the news to Dana about Money in the Bank moving to MGM today, hashtag AEW Rampage on TNT." And then in the thread, he also put genius move trying to take on Dana and the UFC in Vegas during International Fight Week. See you tonight on Friday night. AEW Rampage on TNT at a special time tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Steve, what's your thoughts on this? What seems like it's going to be a whole mess for WWE concerning moving from Alliant or Allegiant Stadium and then to the MGM Grand.
You know, man, as much as my theory on this is Vince McMahon at one point was offered maybe $4 billion for the WWE. He wants 10, probably completely and totally unreasonable. That's why they bring Nick Khan in, and he's blowing smoke up Vince's ass. Hey, you're the WWE. You got Hogan, Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena in your library. You're the next Marvel. You're going to get 10 billion and I can help you. There's enough people out there who would fill 8 stadiums every single year. Guess what?
That ain't going to happen, you dumb son of a bitch.
No, man, I'm sorry. You know, you got to come back to earth at a certain point. You're worried about the NBA playoffs when the NBA playoffs back in 1998 were worried about you. You're worried about Monday Night Football when they used to be worried about you. It's not reasonable, and you can't be setting expectations so high. They were going to run 25,000 in a venue that could hold 60,000, so they were already setting up to lower their expectations way down.
Setting up for failure.
And they couldn't even come close to that. So, I don't know. I feel like this is, you know, we're going to forget about this when the WWE does something else stupid 2 weeks from now. But in this moment, yeah, it's okay to point and laugh because you think you're bigger than you are. You think you're the end all be all in pro wrestling. Guess what? You're not. And as far as Tony Khan's concerned, yeah, we get it. Life of a billionaire is probably pretty good, isn't it? We don't have to be reminded of it all the time. And by the way, maybe feature a couple more women on your cable show.
Exactly. Worry about your own product. Don't worry about being petty on social media. It's funny. It's funny to me.
It's so funny, right?
It is funny to me because Tony just couldn't help himself.
That had to have been after a few beers with Dana White. It had to have been.
Probably, and given Tony's size, probably like 2.
Yes. I've seen him at a bar. He will get the most expensive bottle at the back of the bar just to have shots and seem like a billionaire at the bar. So that's
must be nice. Must be nice. Yeah.
$10,000 bottle. I've seen him one time at a bar.
Chris, nothing to him.
Exactly. Krssi, what do you think about this whole Money in the Bank fiasco?
It just, first of all, again, like we were just saying, why do you need 2 back-to-back stadium events in the same month? It doesn't make any sense. I know you're trying to make Money in the Bank something that's really big, like the big 4 that you already have. You don't need to, friend. It's okay. You have the big four for a reason. Let them stay that way. Are the big four. It proves itself. People are more expected to be at SummerSlam than Money in the Bank. That's just what it is. And for you to put it in this huge, big arena, no, not arena, stadium, excuse me, because it's a stadium, and you do all these promos and everything like that, now you want us to forget it. Come on. Like, really? Like, it's just dumb. Like, we didn't need, I hate when they do 2 events in 1 month anyway. It doesn't make sense. You don't need to I've been saying this for a long time anyway. You don't need all of these pay-per-views. You don't even have storylines to build up these things. So why have all these pay-per-views?
There should be 8 pay-per-views regardless, not 12, 13, 14, whatever they're going to do, plus Saudi shows. You should just have 8 in the first place. Concentrate on 8, put them in arenas. Maybe then the demand will be there for the big, for like, I don't know, 4 stadium shows, which I think they do 2 now, Mania and SummerSlam. Look, Money in the Bank, in my opinion, is like the number Rumble. 3. Like, you got the Rumble, which is like my favorite. WrestleMania obviously is a big deal. SummerSlam's great, but for my money, Money in the Bank with the cash-ins, with the intrigue, the actual Money in the Bank matches are usually pretty good. You can do a lot with that. That can be your number 3 big pay-per-view or your number 4 big pay-per-view, because nobody cares about Survivor Series anymore. So, like, the idea to do it in a stadium.
They don't even care about Survivor Series. Sorry.
They don't even care about that anymore. Exactly. The idea to do it in a stadium is not a terrible idea, but the placement is wonky because it's in between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. You can't do that. You can't do it.
Yep.
It's silly. It was just a silly move to begin with. We got the legit underboss Jimmy Thomas saying, Steve, you got to get them on the Smash Zone.
Oh, the Smash Zone we do on Twitch every single Thursday night. We watch old wrestling clips. We watch old episodes of Family Feud, old Press Your Luck. It's wild fun over there. Yeah, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, wow, I would love to do that. That's
we
fun.
would be down for that.
All right, we'll set up the invite soon.
Great. We got a new report as some additional details on Sasha Banks and Naomi's WWE walkout on last week's Raw. Fightful Select had a new report that clarified a rumor about when Banks and Naomi left the show, noting that several talent and staff have reiterated that Banks and Naomi left at the start of last week's Monday Night Raw after it had already begun. This was after the same person who brought out the story on social media of Sasha and Naomi's side said that they left at about like 7 p.m. way before the show had started. Several other people the outlet spoke to speculated that once the show had begun, they wouldn't be able to talk about the situation with Vince McMahon anymore because he would be busy with the show. The report notes that as of 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, the original 6-way women's number 1 contenders match was still listed eternally, but had no producer or referee was listed. As has been noted, backstage segments were listed for Becky Lynch, but there were no segments for any other participants at that point. In addition, the site notes that WWE has repeated that the removal of Banks and Naomi from WWE Shop is not an indication of a release from the company for the two. The move is part of their indefinite suspension over the matter, and it has been said that there's no any indication of an end coming to the matter as of this week, and neither woman was scheduled for Raw or SmackDown this week as well. Jimmy Uso, who is married to Naomi, is not expected to be affected by the situation, as we saw on SmackDown last night, and there's no word on any stance he's taken on the matter. WWE is hammering home the idea that Sasha Banks and Naomi disappointed the fans, using the phrase again on Raw this week's Monday's episode saw Corey Graves recap the situation during Nikki ASH's entrance for her match with Alexa Bliss and put the blame on Banks and Naomi. Last week it was the WWE, he said, and I quote, last week it was the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship and the then Women's Tag Team Champions Sasha Banks and Naomi would leave during the broadcast of Monday Night Raw. Graves said, walk out of the arena during the show, and Nikki ASH and Doudrop were actually scheduled to be part of the 6-pack challenge main event. Sasha Banks and Naomi would relinquish those championships and disappointed the WWE universe in the process. During Tuesday's episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer spoke about the ongoing situation with Sasha Banks and Naomi, who were suspended indefinitely. WWE. According to the report, Naomi only has 2 months left on her contract, and an earlier report stated that Banks also had a contract that was set to expire. However, the wording of the contracts of both wrestlers states that WWE does have the option to freeze their deals for failing to perform, and that would mean that they would still be under contract until WWE unfreezes those contracts. They have done this in the past for wrestlers with injuries, such as Brody Lee, and the move is usually done so that the company doesn't lose out on the dates with that wrestler. And the latest development that we heard was that Naomi removed all the WWE references from her Twitter bio. Now Naomi has removed all references from her bio on all of social media noted by Wrestling Inc. And the bio referred to her before as WWE Superstar and had Feel the Glow hashtag. Now just contains the likes of her Twitter, her Instagram and TikTok accounts. Her Twitter handle has not been changed from Naomi WWE though. And according to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE's decided to pull the team's merchandise to send a message to the locker room. There is said to be a lot of discussion in the locker room, with Banks being painted in a negative light, and Naomi is seen as just supporting her friend, but not being the cause of this situation. It was noted that even those who were normally not pro management were not against management in this situation, and was also noted that neither Sasha Banks nor Naomi are being paid during their suspension. Steve, we talked about this for about 90 minutes last week because this was such a big topic. What's been your thoughts on this whole entire situation with Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out last week?
I mean, I watched a lot of your discussion because I do a little bit of research when I'm about to hang out in somebody's house. And I agree with a lot of what was said on the show here. And I'll be honest with you, though, if you look at it now from Naomi's perspective, from Sasha, especially Sasha Banks' perspective, number one, Sasha Banks on the WWE. She can not go back there. She can find a Star Wars series to be a part of. She can be part of the Marvel universe. She can do whatever she wants.
She can do whatever she wants. Yep.
She's building her. If she wants to wrestle, she can go anywhere else and wrestle. The thing about the contracts is kind of interesting because from what I think I understand, and I am not, and that's not a lot. If they only have 2 months left on their contract, it's not like WWE can in perpetuity freeze their contract. I think they can only freeze it for the length of time remaining on their contract. So if they have 2 months on it, they'll have 4 months before they are free and clear, which is not that much long of a time. It's not like a Mustafa Ali situation where he had like 2 years. Another thing, the more WWE gets petty with this situation on air, the more their value increases for Sasha Banks and Naomi.
Yep.
Every time they bring attention to this, it adds more intrigue to it for them. So their return has more value, or when they go somewhere else, more value. When Naomi wants to speak out after her contract is done within 4 months, she has more value, more eyeballs paying attention to her. Sasha Banks is only increasing her value, so she'll get back on Kevin Hart's show or wherever she wants to go and shoot on the WWE because they're coming off as petty. So there's no downside to this for Sasha Banks and Naomi because they don't need the WWE, especially Sasha. She's a big name, but even Naomi, she'll be able to capitalize off this as well. So I don't know. If I'm WWE, you shut up, you bring them back as soon as possible, because the longer you wait, the bigger of a deal they become. It's incredibly poor poker playing from Vince McMahon and the WWE. So I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking in this situation. They're trying to send a message to the locker room.
Right.
Well, the locker room, they're already going to know, look, wrestlers have more leverage, and that's what Vince hates. He does not want his wrestlers to have leverage. They have so much more leverage these days than back in like 1998 or 2002 when Stone Cold Steve Austin walked out. They got a lot more leverage. Vince doesn't like that. He doesn't know what to do in this situation.
Yeah, that's why I kept saying, like, I know a lot of people want to compare this to Stone Cold. This ain't 2002.
It's not the same. It is definitely not the same.
Different landscape for what these wrestlers can do. Sasha Banks can walk on a director's set tomorrow and be totally fine. Miss Krssi Luv, Annika said, "Unleash the Krssi." Your thoughts on the latest with this whole situation, where it seems like they're trying to kind of keep making an example of Sasha and Naomi in this.
not to copy what Steve just said, but it's like the more you talk about it and the more you make this narrative, people are going to side more with them. And you keep saying that they let us down. No, they didn't let me down. They didn't let anyone down because they weren't there. So the people are not going to know anything that happened if they don't know that they're not there. But you keep making it a point and a purpose to make sure that these girls look so bad. That's where we are right now. And the more you talk about them, the more their stocks are going to keep going up. And, we're going to keep them longer. Okay, keep them longer. Guess what? They're going to still be on social media. They don't have to post anything, but people will post things of them, and they will still be seen. Having not a care in the damn world.
Yep.
Don't be not even. They're not even fazed by this. More Sasha. Sasha's not even fazed by this, and this just shows you when she went when they did her documentary and she went away. She's like, I had to just take a step back, and I had to understand why I love this. So that's why I traveled. Yes, I walked out. That's right. I had to, because I was not feeling the way I should feel for doing the business that I love to do. So yes, walk away. And she will be paid to be on someone's show. She can be on someone's reality event. She can do it all. And they will pay her and she will go. Naomi is the same way. Find Lana, aka CJ, and do the same shit like she does. Lana is not having a care in the damn world. Lana is having one of the best times. She's got brands with Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Things that I shop from. But these things all, are all there. So you see these things, and these ladies they have so many followers. Get your Twitch back on. You will make your money some other way. Her episode with Kevin Hart was amazing. So good. So funny.
Yep. Yeah.
And Sasha Banks seems like on social media, she's not even fazed by this. She's at concerts, having a good time, just minding her own business. We got Maggie Rita saying Naomi's Rumble return made mainstream media headlines. She is charisma personified. I hope she capitalizes on this huge. And that's a great point by Steve. Like, they are just making themselves look bad by the way they have responded. I said this last week. If they just would have kept it at what they said last week on SmackDown, didn't do the statement, didn't do the extra comment this week, they would be perfectly fine, and a lot of people would be siding with WWE, but they have handled this so poorly, and the optics of it, based on everything we know of what's happened lately, with everything we brought up last week, it just doesn't look good when it's two African American women and they're acting in this way. It just does not look good at all. And then the other thing is, they did not announce this match before Raw. So why do they keep acting like this was something that was promoted? You disappointed the fans. We said we would have the match. We've been disappointed
in the women's tag division for months now. Stop
when they had Jimmy Smith and Corey Graves announce the match, they knew they had a problem with it. Regardless of if they had left or not, they knew that Sasha Banks and Naomi had a problem with it, but they just kept going along with it. But
I could just imagine I wish there was they got cameras everywhere backstage. Could you imagine the look on Johnny Ace's big red face when they put those tag team titles? And given this dude is probably sitting there thinking, who am I going to send a garbage bag to next? Which of our women's competitors that we just released am I going to send a garbage bag with all their gear in it to next? You know how this dude feels about women. What his history is like. Imagine two Black women showing up with their tag titles. Doesn't work for me, brother. That's what they said. And they walked out. Could you imagine the look on his face? It was probably priceless. And good for them for walking out. Nobody sides with the companies anymore. We get the story directly from the wrestlers, from the workers. We get the story from them. Nobody's going to side with the giant corporation of WWE on this. We're siding with the wrestlers. That's the only reason to watch WWE anyways, because of the wrestlers and what they give us. It's not the creative. It's not the behind the scenes stuff, because they drop the ball consistently. It's about the performers. That's who the people are going to be siding with. They didn't let us down. WWE's been letting us down. Naomi has been one of the most creative wrestlers in the ring, with her branding, with her wrestling, with her Royal Rumble appearances. She has been one of the most creative people. And they have that title that she had with all the LEDs on it to match her whole getup was
That
a
was
stroke.
what-
They could have been selling those left and right.
But they sold a Fiend ugliness belt that looked like garbage for how much dollars? And people bought
And they
that
sold
shit
that for
too.
like
Like, come on.
600. They sold that for
Mhm.
600. I would have paid 600 for the glow title.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
would have.
I would
Yeah.
have, I would have, I don't know how I would have done it, but I probably would have invested in one of those that's a bet I would have invested in. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, she has given everything she had, and you're absolutely
this
right.
company,
She can
yes,
hop on
yep.
her phone as soon as she's allowed to. Brand
Yep.
deals, endorsements,
Yep.
AEW, wherever she wants to go. Naomi will be fine. Sasha Banks is going to be writing her own ticket for as long as she wants to. She will
Yep.
be fine for the rest of her life.
I don't know if she said it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it was like a little gems, like little bullets. This is like shown to us, but she's been giving us little nuggets here and there. Like I know what I'm worth. I don't have to do this. I've done what I needed to do, and I've only done it in a short span of time. I know what I can do. Why are we not paying a narrative for Charlotte and other girls? Just saying.
Yeah, I mean it is what
Sorry,
it is.
Romeo, but I just need to get that as an example.
This is going to be a topic I think that's going to go on for a while. We had the WrestleVotes tweet that was like it's going to get worse before it gets any better, and
sad.
that's what it
So
seems
sad.
like after a whole week of this. It seems like that's the case. But the other big news from last week was the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the decision for Stephanie McMahon to take a leave of absence from WWE was several months in the making. This is likely isn't a short-term hiatus. The company is looking for a replacement as chief brand officer, or at least someone to take over the responsibilities of the job. There are said to be people quietly saying negative things about McMahon's time there who were not high on her. One person noted that there were people frustrated with her because they would ask her something and she'd run it by Vince McMahon because all things in WWE go through Vince McMahon first. Another person wondered how many people would replace her, either one or more than that. While the story about her leaving to focus on her family is true, it's not the only reason. Other reasons have been kept quiet, and one person said they can say for sure that she won't be back soon and may not ever come back as chief brand officer, period. So this is like a hidden story. I think that this is another one that is going to develop over time. Like I said last week, from what I've heard from people that work in the WWE office, they were told that it was a health reason why she was taking time off. Now, I don't know if that's a health reason for her, health reason for someone in the family, but it's like you're hearing different stuff across the board. What's been your take on this news, Steve?
You know what, man? It's so difficult to speculate, and it is what it is. I mean, all you can really say is when they brought Nick Khan in, as experienced as Stephanie McMahon is, dealing with that level of corporate know-how and experience, when you bring in a guy like Nick Khan, they're probably. I sort of relate it to talking about the Sacramento Kings again. Back when the goofy Maloofs owned the Kings, they didn't really know what they were doing. And so when you have a legitimate owner with Vivek Ranadive, when he came in, he's a legit billionaire. He knows the corporate thing as opposed to being run like a mom and pop shop. Well, WWE's turning the corner where they're trying to get their books in order to sell the company for a ton of money. That's why you bring Nick Khan in. So it wouldn't shock me if they brought in somebody with a lot more experience in the corporate world, not the wrestling world, not the WWE world, but in the corporate world to run the show where Stephanie used to be doing it. I'm not there. I don't know. For all I know, look, Triple H was out with that heart problem for a very long time. His responsibilities have shifted now. They have a whole family. And maybe this is simply her wanting to say, hey, look, Dad's been out. I've been working a lot. I got to go be with my babies. As a parent, I know what that's like. And so maybe that's the case, but it also wouldn't shock me if, maybe they needed to shuffle some stuff around because they're getting serious about a new TV deal on the horizon, potentially maybe trying to sell the company for a big sum to NBC Universal. Maybe Stephanie's not that person, but again, I don't know how responsible it is for me to speculate on that, given that I'm not there. And this is personal stuff. So I don't know. Interesting though. Definitely interesting.
Yeah.
there we go.
There's the future brand officer. They
Yeah.
saw what she did. They saw it's all about the like Frantic
I'm
World
loving
says
this
here.
beta suit.
WWE is like HBO Secession. Yes, it is.
It is. It really
It
is. Though.
really is.
It really is. Yep. With Shane always just like be having a hissy fit and like, yeah, I'm gonna leave. Then I'll be in the background. Now I want to come back to work. Blah blah blah. It's just the same shit.
There's been a lot of drama with the McMahon family this year, bringing up Shane. Yeah,
that is true.
Speaking of executive positions, PW Insider reports Jeff Jarrett has returned to WWE in executive position and will now be in charge of live events. A source stated that Jarrett was taking over live events and he will officially start his new job next week. Jarrett previously worked backstage for WWE as a producer starting in January 2019, and he was then moved to the creative team that March and later moved into live events side in an executive role. When COVID-19 put events on hiatus, Jarrett quietly left the company. Krssi Luv, what do you think of JE double F JA double R E double T returning to WWE in an executive position?
I knew something was happening because they showed him on Stone Cold session. I was like, okay, something is happening where he's coming back or he's going to be on TV or something like that. I mean, if he's going to do something good and help, something backstage, because they definitely need help backstage. So just don't be a yes man. Try to like go against the grain and give us some good shit, because right now it's not looking good. Go to SmackDown. We need you over at SmackDown, friend.
Need you in any.
Well, yeah, but I think SmackDown is the one that's like suffering.
Yeah, SmackDown's on the downturn these days. I think, you know what?
It used to
Jeff
be the show.
Jarrett,
Like, I don't know.
yeah, they go through phases where like it's Raw is decent and then SmackDown's crap and then it switches. They can't seem to focus on one show at the same time. It's rare that you have both good episodes. But, Jeff Jarrett, he's this dude has been in the business. Again, if you're looking at dealing with the wrestlers, dealing with creative, Jeff Jarrett, I was never a fan of his back in the day. But understanding now, having seen interviews with him and whatnot, what his contributions to the business, bringing TNA to the table, being the guy who said, hey, the knockouts division, the women's wrestling should be prominent. The X division, innovative wrestling should be prominent in wrestling. I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't know how much he's going to be involved in creative necessarily, but in terms of having Jeff Jarrett, his wrestling mind in WWE, it's probably not a terrible thing. Having listened to his philosophies on wrestling versus like Bruce Pritchard's philosophies on wrestling, I'm more of a Jeff Jarrett guy.
Right.
I'm more of Johnny Ace. Yeah, I'm more of a Jeff Jarrett guy. So yeah, I'm cool with Jeff Jarrett. I like him.
Yeah, and like Sammy Joe says, better than Russo. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Right? Yeah, anything is better than that guy. Like
absolutely, 1,000%.
This is very true. WWE is reportedly in talks with Take-Two Interactive, which is the parent company for 2K, to actually include Cody Rhodes in the latest video game WWE 2K22. The company had hoped the American Nightmare would be a special in the DLC package, which came out after WrestleMania. But according to SportsGamersOnline.com, a person close to the developmental team claimed WWE tried, but it was quickly shot down. They knew it was unlikely, but you don't know for sure unless you ask. Ultimately, there just wasn't enough time to include Rose because of all the things that it would take to include him. And in a post, wrestling podcast James Stewart suggested that Cody should be the cover athlete on the next WWE video game, WWE 2K23. And Cody responded by saying, I don't know the talented folks at WWE Games, but I'm a pretty decent gambler, and I would bet they're working very hard on something special for pro wrestling fans. And the last time Cody took a bet on social media, it worked out for him. So I would say that this is a safe bet.
I'm sure there's probably at least like 20 created Cody Rhodes characters in 2K22 that the community's created that are probably just fine. But yeah, it'd be kind of, I don't know, man. I'm not sure why they made 2K like, oh, look, I'm not a video game developer. But like, why wouldn't they be able to just sort of, I don't know, send somebody out, scan his face, create his character, do a bunch of moves? I don't know. Why couldn't they do this? It seems like it'd be not that difficult, but I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Community creations has been my thing since like 2K16. Like they always have some dope ones from like AEW or New Japan, regardless of what promotion you like. Community Creations, they got creative people that seem to be more creative than the people at TK, unfortunately. And then our final WWE news, though, is a happy one. Congratulations to Romeo's favorite WWE superstar, Charlotte Flair, as she got officially married to AEW star Andrade El Idolo this week. You got Rey Mysterio, if you didn't recognize him on the far left there.
Right.
Oh no, I didn't even notice that. Put his
Really?
mask back on. Put that
Wow.
mask back on.
No.
When he has the mask on, he
I knew
looks
that
like
was
he
him
hasn't
right away.
aged. He
Yeah.
looks like he hasn't aged, but yes, he has aged if you take off the mask. And Ric Flair
No-
was also there, of course, in an
Notice it
all
wasn't a
pink
lot of
suit.
wrestlers there.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Charlotte's arm looks pretty good too. So it looks like Charlotte's arm is healed up too.
think
Doesn't
she's
look like
she's
it's broken
recovered.
anymore.
it looks like she's having a speedy recovery. That 8
Yeah.
weeks. that it
You
was
think
taking.
so?
Man.
You think?
Absolutely.
I think that
Hmm.
arm's looking good enough to grab that Money in the Bank briefcase. What do you think?
It could be. It could
Could be,
be.
friend. I think so.
Need some star power. The other thing we didn't note about the Money in the Bank, the new poster doesn't include Roman Reigns. So some people are questioning if Roman Reigns is going to be on that show. Steve, do you think Roman is at Money in the Bank?
And Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, of course. Now Brock is probably going to be firmly a stadium guy now if they can figure out how to do stadium shows. He'll probably be firmly a stadium guy. But yeah, Roman he'll be there for money. I'm sure he'll be there for Money in the Bank. You got to have that Riddle match, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it is kind of set. They're kind of giving Riddle the big push for that, so it would make a bunch of sense. Bunch of congratulations for the couple, and they weren't the only couple who got married this week, which we'll get into. But first, AEW news. During a media call Thursday, Tony Khan addressed MJF, talking about his contract issues on AEW television. Khan was asked about it, about incorporating it in storylines, and Khan said, "Wrestling thrives when real life meets on screen. The real life conflict is often just as exciting as any conflict on screen, which is one of the good things about what AEW has brought to the wrestling business. There was no real major free agent market with the top stars crossing promotions, debuting, and frankly, the competition needed to be brought back to the biggest stage. With the 90s, we had TBS and TNT in the wrestling game. With the launch of AEW, we've been able to bring that back, taking what is happening in real with potential movement and contract negotiations is exciting, adding another element to what will be an exciting matchup at Double or Nothing with Wardlow and MJF, who had been very vocal and not only about his own contract, but about his former bodyguard and how he feels, and he's tried to hold down his career. For Wardlow, this is a huge opportunity to officially be part of AEW and to shed an image that he's just MJF's heavy and MJF's thug. For MJF, it's been a great opportunity to not only air some real life grievances, but air his status contractually or otherwise. People are really excited about the fight at Double or Nothing on Sunday. But it doesn't seem MJF's that excited, because in a now deleted tweet, MJF responded to these comments with fucking LOL. Fuck this place, man.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
When you're making $35,000 a year and you're the biggest draw in your company, you're probably going to be not too happy. By the way, did you see on AEW Dynamite, not only was he wearing the Shawn Michaels referee outfit, but my God, the man has been working on he's been doing his several leg days a week in the gym.
Yeah.
He's getting in WWE shape. I'm looking at a picture of MJF right now without a shirt on from 2019. It is a lot different than 2022. His arms are almost Wardlow size. They are huge. His freaking thighs are massive. This guy is getting ready for his big WWE contract in 2024. I think he's going to end up going there. That being said, him responding on Twitter, I'm sure there's an element of truth there, but he's going to do that. He's in character all the time. So this is just on par with MJF, but he's totally leaving that company.
I feel like he is, and I feel like a lot of his comments are basically working himself, because he seemed like the guy to be AEW World Champion at least this year. But I think the fact that he keeps talking about his status and keeps talking about leaving, I think he's working himself out of that.
Oh, he's going to be champion. Tony Khan's a billionaire. He doesn't care. These are all his toys that he's playing with. MJF ends up leaving. He doesn't care. He's going to stick to his plan. And I think that does include MJF winning that championship. If Hangman gets out of this Sunday, then MJF's going to win either at All Out or at maybe Full Gear. But no, he's going to be champion in 2022, MJF.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, because that seems like the best move. The best move for AEW in general, in my opinion. Speaking of Double or Nothing, Sting is going to be out due to injury and will miss AEW Double or Nothing and the Fan Fest. AEW announced Thursday night that the Icon suffered an injury last week, and he has been removed from the Fan Fest and will not travel to Las Vegas. Speaking of people who won't be in Las Vegas, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Kenny Omega will not be in Las Vegas for this weekend's event. Omega previously attended a few tapings to work backstage, but reportedly traveled too early with his injury still healing. And Omega said the parts of him that are healthy, he is still able to train well and has been pushing himself harder each week. Other parts, however, are healing slower. He said that he accepts that he will never be 100%, but is trying to reverse some of the damage so he can return. Fixing the injuries would give him more time as a wrestler. Krssi, do you think we see Kenny Omega back in AEW this year?
Oh, maybe later towards the ending of the year. Maybe. I don't think so far right now. No, maybe towards the end of the year. Wait, because you want him to be 100. You don't want him to be like 85%. You want him all the way better and cleared. So again, that this does not at least happen again. So I would say by the end of the year, let him just heal up.
I could see, so. Yeah. Maybe he'll make an appearance at All Out, like in September.
Right.
I mean, if Punk wins this Sunday, or if he loses and they sort of circle back around to Punk so we can win if they do it in Chicago in September. I know they got Forbidden Door in Chicago, but All Out like Chicago is that's the thing. Maybe Punk wins the title in September, and then at the end of the show, Kenny comes out for a face-to-face and for the big buzz, and then maybe they do that at, I don't know, Revolution or something. But Krssi, I agree 100%. Kenny has had, I mean, if you look at the list of injuries he was working with, putting on those 6-star matches, oh my God, that guy is amazing.
How? Right. How did you? Yep.
Can't imagine what he'd be like at 100% putting on just clinics. And that's what you want. Honestly, Kenny seems like such a good soul. You want him you just want the man not to be hurting. So as long as it takes Kenny, take all that time so that you're not hurting every day.
Correct.
Absolutely. I hope he has his Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand moment though at Forbidden Door, because Forbidden Door wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for Kenny Omega.
Mm-hmm.
This is very true. You're right. I hope that can happen, but I just want him to be like good.
Yeah, another person who we may or may not see in AEW soon, Romeo. Not you, but Romeo. You popped in.
I was gonna say I don't know how Kenny Omega is feeling about New Japan in relation to the news you're gonna go about later.
We're gonna get to that. Fightful. Yes, Fightful Select has a report on Killer Kross, who was having talks with AEW. According to the report, Killer Kross was originally approached as the opponent to face Wardlow on AEW Dynamite earlier this month on May 4th. And per the report, AEW approached Kross as a potential opponent for Wardlow on the show. However, the two sides couldn't come to terms to have Kross appear, and the deal fell through. Previously, Tony Khan spoke about Kross and Scarlett at the Supercard of Honor post-show scrum and a tentative plan to use them later on. Talks to have Kross work the May 4th Dynamite reportedly fell apart closer to the event, and it said that Kross became aware that Scarlett, who is also married to in real life, would not be a part of the event. The wrestler was reportedly concerned his AEW debut would turn out similarly to his WWE main roster debut against Jeff Hardy, and we all remember how that went down. And this is unlike his successful run in NXT when he had Scarlett by as his manager and valet and his entrance presentation. And the report notes that sources indicate that both sides are still on good terms, and the possibility remains open that they could still work with each other in the future. Would you guys like to see Killer Kross in AEW, maybe as a full-time performer down the line?
It'd have to be something where it was not his last run, because it was very like lackluster. So I'm very on the
Yeah.
fence to like how we're going to like package him and how we're going to brand him, because he has a habit of getting wrestlers and then holding them, and then we don't really see them, like i.e. Ruby Soho. We'll have them, see them for a minute, they pop, they get a couple of pops here and there, and then they fizzle on and be in the background.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Cross in like New Japan, where he can explore a bit more of the MMA side of his pro wrestling. His pro wrestling, like the actual, it sort of boggled my mind the way they treated him in WWE. I think it boggled a lot of people's mind. I think it boggled Killer Cross's mind how they treat him in WWE. I think it was wise for him to say no to AEW in this instance, because you don't bring him in without Scarlett and just job him out to Wardlow as part of somebody else's story.
Correct.
He seemed. I want to see the guy do well. I think him and Scarlett have a lot to offer in the right circumstance. You're right though. I don't think AEW is the place. They have too many people right now. They can barely put Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland on TV.
Right.
Like how are you gonna bring another guy in as a solo act, and then I don't know what you do with them. So no, I don't think AEW is the place for him. I think it was wise for him to say no. Understand your value. Hopefully he got a big paycheck from WWE in the first place. And then I don't know, maybe I think he had some, I forget if he did any New Japan work before NXT, but I could see him in NXT, or I'm sorry, in New Japan. I think New Japan would be an awesome spot for him.
Yeah, he worked with them in Dallas, and I know he's done some New Japan Strong events. So that's a good, definitely a good spot for him. I know he's done some work with MLW since his release as well. Fightful Select reports that Brian Cage, someone else that the AEW hasn't used very often, he was at Wednesday's taping of AEW Dynamite. Cage's, of course, his contract option was picked up earlier this year. Speaking of contract options being picked up, Colt Cabana has signed a new deal with AEW, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It was pushed by the Young Bucks for him to re-sign, and he's going to be working more for ROH if that brand starts up again. Cabana has been busy with other projects, as he recently appeared on an episode of Young Rock. Speaking of contracts, Kyle O'Reilly has announced that he has signed a 5-year deal with AEW. So he seems to be like a long-term guy that's going to be with the company. That was on the Toddcast podcast. And in an interview with our very own good friend of TalkSport, Alex McCarthy, William Regals talked about he wanted to sign 3 of AEW's current stars to WWE NXT before the directive change for them to have more like athletes. He said that he was planning to sign Daniel Garcia, Ricky Starks, and Wheeler Yuta to NXT before WWE changed the directive. And Ringo's comments confirm a report from August of 2021 that Wheeler Yuta had a tryout with WWE in May of 2020 and was someone who was considered a slam dunk to be signed, but was ultimately passed on. And that, Ricky Starks in WWE, especially NXT 2.0, that would have been money.
Well, that'd have been great. I think he's doing really good work. Ricky Stark's one of those guys who's like forced his way onto TV. Team Taz, they were sort of in the background.
Right.
Everybody talks about Ricky Starks. He's got the best theme song.
He's the best one. Yep.
In the company. He's killer on the mic. I've been watching him since NWA. Ricky Starks is the man, and he is going to be massive. And I'm going to take a very quick break. I'll be right back.
Got to take that bathroom break. Krssi knows all about that. But that gives me a chance to talk about some New Japan Pro Wrestling news. And of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling, you got to talk about the latest drama between Kota Ibushi and the company, as we reported a few weeks ago. Kota Ibushi has been very vocal about his issues with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the company held a press conference yesterday to speak about the situation. The owner,
people doing press releases about people having conflicts with them. I don't understand this.
They did a whole press conference. Takami Obari said in the press conference, "I would hope now like to take a moment to explain the series of events that led to the aforementioned post to the extent of our current understanding. Kota Ibushi is a wrestler exclusively contracted to New Japan Pro Wrestling. As such, it is understood that in order to devote full attention to New Japan Pro Wrestling matches and associated events, he is required to inform and receive express permission from New Japan Pro Wrestling before outside appearances. On March Fourth, in a breach of the terms of his contract, Mr. Ibushi made an appearance seconding wrestlers at a Just Tap Out event, and the aforementioned official is responsible for contacting various wrestlers contracted to New Japan Pro Wrestling, but also has a long personal history with Mr. Ibushi that extends far before him becoming an exclusive contracted talent. The official contacted Mr. Ibushi in the belief that Mr. Ibushi's actions in breach of his contract were taken deliberately to persuade New Japan Pro Wrestling to terminate his agreement with him. Previously, we perceived this as a betrayal of personal trust established over a number of years, and his messages were sent in an emotional state as a result. There was no formal announcement from the company on the matter of Ibushi being released. He's still seen as an important part of the company, according to the new report. However, the words of the official in his text conversation were inexcusable from this press conference. They said, Representative Director of Bushi Road, Takani Kinani, said, "First, let me express my sincerest personal gratitude to Kota Ibushi for his contributions to New Japan Pro Wrestling. His thrilling matches in the ring, it is my sincerest hope that he continues to be connected to New Japan Pro Wrestling moving forward. However, his utmost priority at this time must be to care for his mother, as well as his full recovery of his injuries. It should go without saying that he will remain under contract for as long as that process takes." And New Japan Pro Wrestling released a statement on the situation, and it reads, "Kota Ibushi is and will remain a key member of New Japan Pro Wrestling roster. This kind of severe disagreement between company and talent should not happen again. In order to prevent any such instances in the future and ensure the best possible working environment for talent, we will be actively engaged in discussion with Mr. Ibushi about improving company policy and implementing proper procedure. We again would like to apologize to fans, wrestlers, and personnel for the concern and disruption caused in the middle of the Best of the Super Junior tour." However, the story doesn't end there. Ibushi himself watched the press conference and took to Twitter after, and he wrote, this is a translation from him in Japanese. He says, "Don't leave out the part you don't want to talk about. The true story from May 8th. I'll address in detail. My mother, sensing my concern, asked me if there were any problems on May 8th, and as a result of the story that I told her on May 9th, she attempted suicide and broke her hip bone. That was 95% of my tweet. Why did you leave it out? I told you yesterday that I would address if their explanation on the press conference was not correct." And New Japan Pro Wrestling says they held a countermeasure meeting, including legal personnel, to discuss Ibushi's tweets and his mother attempting suicide.
That's
wow.
crazy.
That
Yes.
is
So
heavy,
crazy.
heavy stuff right
That's
there.
that's some like whew.
That's like, I don't even know.
That's
Like on one hand, when you see the press conference, see the translation, see the press release, it's like, oh, this is kind of how a company should, as opposed to WWE blasting people on their broadcast and leaving the people who don't watch this show, watch Going in Raw or Fightful or whatever, like just confused. This is kind of how you do it. You hold the press conference, say, "Hey, we've reached out to make sure he's okay, and that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. We appreciate him, et cetera, et cetera." Now, the other side is Kota Ibushi. What is happening here? No idea, but hopefully Kota Ibushi is okay and this all gets resolved. But yeah, this is sort of a bizarre situation. The language barrier obviously doesn't help things as well.
Nope.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of miscommunication going on in this whole entire situation. There was a report this week that Fightful Select talked about that there's several wrestlers that are considering coming from the United States to work in New Japan, and finally they're able to bring talent from aboard, as seen with the Best of the Super Juniors. And there were still wrestlers who have yet to get their chance, including several in AEW that want to come over, and they were told New Japan wasn't bringing anyone in from the US for a while, but now they're open to that, to hang tight, and highly sought out free agents that hope to go to New Japan, but the company couldn't do it during the pandemic, are now able to come through. Krssi, do you think this whole Kota Ibushi situation may affect that, with people maybe in Japan working talent there, or the talent in the United States?
See, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how close they may be with him, but it's a narrative, like it's always three sides to a story. So he could be putting out one side, they're putting out one side, and then the people that know the real side, that's the real story. So I don't know if it can really affect them, to be honest. I mean, because I think people like that's like the whole Sasha and thing. Like people we're still watching it, no matter if we don't agree with what they did. Anyways, it's kind of like the same like scenario. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's gonna really affect it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm sure that most wrestlers look there. This is a business, and they probably think,
they got
hey,
bills to pay. Yeah,
yeah, this is between New Japan and Kota Ibushi. I mean, you had mentioned earlier, maybe like a Kenny Omega would think twice about doing Forbidden Door. That's a legit possibility. But as far as other wrestlers go, look, there are a ton of amazing wrestlers on the market, on the free agent, people who aren't even signed with WWE or AEW. There's a ton of in the independent scene. There's so many, like the Prestige Wrestling show going on, I think tonight. I mean, there's a level of talent there that's not even signed with anybody is like crazy good. So people are going to want that New Japan payday. And
they want that little bit of change.
Anyone I know, and I think they
like
understand
20
that the Kota Ibushi situation, it's such a unique thing that doesn't apply to 99.9% of the wrestlers that I don't know if it's going to affect that, but it's a weird situation.
100% way. So in more happier news, final news notes has two weddings as well besides Charlotte and Andrade this week. Big congratulations to Speedball Mike Bailey and Veda Scott, who got married over the past week. I've been a big Speedball Mike Bailey fan, so shout out to him. Congratulations to him and Veda Scott. The producer, he went away. He went away from his producer seat.
I think they had an Elvis wedding. I'm pretty sure it was in, I think it was in Vegas, and I'm pretty sure I saw it on the Instagram, and I'm pretty sure it was a Vegas Elvis wedding.
That's even perfect. That's even better. Also, congratulations to NWA Women's World Champion Camille and Tom Lattimore, who also got married this past week as well.
We don't have it. Sorry.
In more crazier news, GCW was accused this week, owner Brett Lauderdale, of faking COVID tests during the pandemic from independent wrestler Dirty Matt McDonald, I believe his name is. Yes.
What is
that says it all, right?
Right.
Dirty Ron McDonald, not to be confused with Ronald McDonald, posted to social media on Wednesday and alleged that his people made over 50 fake COVID test results so Lauderdale could run shows during the pandemic from October of 2020 through January of 2021. He shared screenshots of Facebook Messenger conversations with Lauderdale and negative COVID tests and made those allegations and basically a smear campaign against Brett Lauderdale. He talked to Fightful Sean Rossap, who reached out to Lauderdale for comment, and he replied, "I referred this to my lawyer, and as much as I like to comment, I've been advised not to." However, 3 of GCW's wrestlers decided to weigh in, and that includes Tony Deppen, Joey Janela, and Jordan Oliver. Tony Deppen said, "Before every show, we had a group chat where we talk about her precautions and the deadlines, precautions for our COVID test, and I also had to sit out 2 shows because my test didn't come back in time, and that was at the request of Brett Lauderdale." That is true, as GCW posted a tweet in January 2021 announcing Deppen would miss a show due to COVID protocols. Janela shared screenshots of the group chat Deppen mentioned and saying that the entire roster is vaccinated. We always had groups like this on social media apps, he said, and many wrestlers have been told to sit out before. Roster is vaccinated now. See everyone in Vegas. Most will ignore this because they want to smoke that GCW pack, whatever the fuck that means. And then Jordan Oliver said, "GCW made me send my test results to head referees. Brett made it clear to me many times, if you test positive or don't get a test, you can't compete. I believe he took it very serious. On top of all that, GCW pays me very good, and that has been since day one. Of course, these are my experiences," because the wrestler also claimed that GCW only pays its wrestlers $50 to $100 as well.
Wow.
So,
That's
Yeah,
wow.
there's a lot to unpack there. Again, that's I don't know. There doesn't from what the wrestlers' response and the actual history of people being taken off shows because of it. I don't know, man. There's not a lot of weight to this. Seemingly, I'm not saying that the GCW can't even figure out to bring a fire extinguisher to their show, but
Right?
that doesn't necessarily mean that they're out there faking COVID tests. And if you are somebody's faking COVID tests, I'm not sure posting that on social media is really the smart
The
move.
best thing to do. Yep.
Right. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's there seems like there's something fishy going on here, and I don't know
Yeah,
where it's coming
for
from.
sure. For sure.
yeah.
Ronald McDonald needs to worry about making Big Macs, not trying to bury Brett Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
That
what I was like.
part.
His name is Dirty Ron McDonald. He's Ronald McDonald's evil
Ronald
cousin
twin
or
brother.
Mirror universe Ronald McDonald, man. I don't know
There you
about that guy.
GCW Downward Spiral is tonight. They have a huge card. We won't do predictions on this show, but on patreon.com/True Hill Heat, we'll have those predictions up so you can have yours.
Nice.
Say they got singles match Matt Cardona versus Blake Christian, 6-way scramble with the rotation versus Jimmy Lloyd, Matt Vendetta, Griff and Titus Alexander, Marcus Mathers, early morning guys Steel. You got a 6-man tag team match of Ali Catch, Billy Starks, and Sandra Moon versus the Second Gear Crew. Effie will go one-on-one with Kevin Blackwood. We'll have a tag team match of Alex Colon and John Wayne Murdoch versus Drew Parker and Reina Yamashita. Singles match of Johnny Game Changer, formerly known as Johnny Elite, formerly known as Johnny Mundo, formerly known as John Morrison or Johnny Impact or Johnny Nitro.
Oh my God. Get it together.
Versus the
Jesus.
aforementioned Joey Janela. You also got Speedball Mike Bailey versus Chris Bay. That should be an absolute banger.
That's gonna be a good
Yeah.
one.
That's gonna
Absolutely. And then a tag team match of
Go to
Jordan
Chris Bay.
and Nick Wayne versus ASF and Gringo Loco. But that brings us to the end of our news rundown. We have a super chat donation from Professor Chris, aka Easy Attack. He says, "Sup, y'all? I am hungover in Vegas trying to meet up with Johnny, our other producer who's not with us, but is in Vegas for Double or Nothing." He said, "I had a gangrel sighting yesterday afternoon, did a lot
Nice.
of walking yesterday and was cool, but I might rent a scooter today. Love y'all." Thank you so much for that super
That's
chat
what's up.
donation.
Yep.
Love. We always appreciate those. And remember, you still got a chance to throw in a last minute super chat as we're going to finish off the show with, of course, our AEW Double or Nothing preview and predictions. We're going to hear what Steve is predicting for this Sunday show as we're going to start with the buy-in, as it's going to be the team that's sweeping Steve and Krssi, Hookhausen. They're going up against Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. Steve, who you got and why is it Hookhausen?
Man, it's Hookhausen. There is no look at the Mark Sterling. He's not even a wrestler. Look at him. This guy, he Tony Nese will be better without Mark Sterling because that dude's gonna be eating this pin. You take Sterling out of it, Nese might have a chance against Hookhausen. But no, Hookhausen is probably one of the most popular things in AEW. Clearly, they're going to take the win. Easy day at the office for Hook and Danhausen.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Krssi Luv, any different?
Same
all day. Hookhausen, unanimous.
Hookhausen. I'm a hooker. Love him.
I'm the number one hooker out on these streets. So, right there with me. Kyle O'Reilly will go one-on-one with Darby Allin. This was just added to the card. Kyle O'Reilly was the one who Pillmanized Sting's leg, or Darby's daddy. So Darby's got to get revenge. And Darby Allin is about to miss a pay-per-view for the first time since Full Gear 2019. And Tony said, as Steve, Krssi, who you got?
Well, this one is a hard one. Oh, geez. I want Kyle O'Reilly to win, but I think Darby will win. So I'm going to go Darby. But I want Kyle, though.
Yeah, I kind of feel that, too. I think Kyle O'Reilly signed a 5-year deal with AEW. He's going to be eating pins for 5 years unless he's in that tag team with Bobby Fish. I think Red Dragon, they're probably going to end up getting those titles in a year or so. But in the meantime,
which I don't mind.
they're great. it does nothing really. It doesn't really hurt Kyle much to eat the loss
Right,
against Darby
right.
Allin. Kyle, like you said, took out his dad's ankle, so Darby's got to get his, and then maybe he'll make one of those cool black and white short films where he's spoofing Red Dragon or something like that. When Sting comes
Right.
back, they'll have a match. But yeah, no, I think this is going to be Darby Allin.
Where Darby's playing a fake guitar while he's riding his bike.
Yeah, exactly.
This one was also added last night on Rampage, as it's going to be a mixed trios match of Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and the debuting Paige Van Sant of American Top Team. They're going up against Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Conti. If Sky's team wins, Frankie Kazarian and Sammy Guevara can't challenge for the TNT title ever again. Steve, who you got in this one?
Who's supposed to be the good guy and who's supposed to be the bad guy in this?
Right.
I have no idea.
My guy is Scorpio Sky.
Yeah,
But Lambert, anything associated with Dan Lambert, isn't he supposed to be the bad guy? I'm so confused by this.
I don't like Dan Lambert. Oh God,
I don't think anybody does. Here's the thing: Kazarian shouldn't be challenging for any titles now, anyways.
No,
unless it's a Ring of Honor title, maybe they can do that. Sammy Guevara has already had like 18 TNT title reigns, and he just destroyed the TNT title like a couple weeks ago. He doesn't need to be challenging anymore for that TNT title. So
yes.
And Paige Van Zandt, it's her debut wrestling match. I feel like she's probably got to get the pin on Ty Conti here, right? It's like her first match. I feel like that's how it's going to go. Men of the Year, they're on the ascent. Kazarian, or he can take the pin. I don't know. In any event, I feel like it's Men of the Year to take this.
They totally messed up this storyline when they made Scorpio turn back heel. Like Scorpio, everyone wants to cheer Scorpio.
Everybody wants to love this guy. Come on.
I don't understand how they get
the other dude. That's why
the story was interesting. If Scorpio's turning babyface and Dan Lambert and Ethan Page are still heel, it would have been interesting. But they decided to revert course, and now we don't know who the babyface are. But I am still going with Men of the Year and Paige Van Sant. Krssi, who you got?
I'm going with Scorpio.
Scorpio's team for the win, everybody across the board. Yep. Another trios matchup is this one has taken forever for us to get here, but we're here now.
Yeah.
House of Black will go up against Death Triangle. This feud started, Steve and Krssi, in November of 2021 when Malachi Black
seems like forever ago.
Yeah.
In Pac's face, and we have
what's the name got injured?
But still, we never even got Malachi Black versus Pac. We never got Brody Matthews versus Pentagon. We never got any singles matches. They've just been waiting to do this trios match, and they waited forever. But it's still going to be a banger. I'm going with House of Black. Who you got,
House
Steve?
of Black for sure. All day. I love the other guys, but House of Black is my team. I'm waiting for what's the name to get over there too? What's his name?
Julia Hart.
Nope. He was on NXT. And he got, my boo. Oh God, Andy Hartwell's husband, him. Dexter Lewis.
No.
Yes, he has to be a part of that group. No one wants that. You don't want that. The people are craving for. I'm telling you, he's great. He has the gimmick. He could do it. I'm telling you, it'd be so good.
I had not heard that, so I'm not sure what people you're talking about. But now that I hear it. Now that I hear it, I'll be one of those people. I'm on board. Dexter Loomis and House of Black. I'm on board with it. I think he was
me too.
Oh, there we got another one. Now you got the people here. All right.
Everybody's getting on the Dex Express. Okay.
Is it just me, or does the Death Triangle actually make all three of those amazing talents seem weaker? Like, you'd think you put Pac, Penna, and Phoenix together, and it'd be like this awesome super group. It's kind of like diminishing all three of them. They need to separate. Pac he got misted like a year ago, whenever it was. He got misted.
Right, yeah.
I feel like maybe Pac should join the House of Black. He can call it the House of Pac. It seems to make all the sense in the world. So yeah, have Pac turn on Pentagon and Phoenix, who are terrific, and they should be singles guys too. So yeah, House of Black. They need this, because up until now, the only win I can think of for House of Black has been against Cody, but he's not there anymore. But Fuego and the Pillmans. That's the only guys these guys have like really feuded with lately, and that's just way below their pay grade. So yeah, House of Black all the way, and on to bigger and better things for them.
Absolutely. And it seems like forever ago. You remember when Pac was playing Daredevil and it seemed like he was going to join House of Black, but
yeah,
here we are. So we're all going House of Black in that one. This one is considered a dream match because we haven't seen it in a while, but it did happen back in 2017, and now it happens for the first time in AEW. It's Elite versus Delete. The Hardys will go up against the Young Bucks. We had the great parody last night, but these are two teams, the greatest tag team of the 90s and 2000s versus the greatest tag team of the 2010s and 2020s. Who you got, Steve?
Oh man, it's Team Hardy all the way. Jeff just got there. They had the big parody segment, so the Young Bucks they sort of, I know that the Hardys ran them off at the end of the segment, but they got the big laugh there. The Young Bucks did. So I say the Hardys are going to come away a big feel good moment. They're going to get a big win here over. I'm more interested in, I know FTR is out there, but to get the Hardys, then a win over the Young Bucks, then maybe they can challenge Jurassic Express or whoever walks away with those tag titles, because they got Christian on their side. There's some history for you. But yeah, I think step one is the Hardys beating the Young Bucks here.
I didn't even think about the Christian connection. That is a good shout. A good shout.
He just made me change my answer.
A lot of people are split on this in the chat. Who do you got, Miss Krssi Luv? Young Bucks or Hardys?
I was going with the Bucks, but now I'm gonna change to the Hardys now, because it's what Steve just like told us, and it just blew my mind because of the whole Christian thing. Yeah, I'm definitely going. Yeah, I'm changing it to the Hardys. They have to, the older, the other guys.
By Fifth Generation Cardi, he said, Matt, listen to Jim Cornette call them boys hardly.
Hardly.
Hardly, yeah, boys hardly. That's funny.
I am also going with the Hardys. It just makes sense. You got to heat them up if they're going to get at least one shot at the AEW World Tag Team titles. Speaking of titles, though, you got the AEW TBS Championship is going to be up for grabs. Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. These two went at it in January in a main event of Rampage, and arguably Jade Cargill's best match of her run so far. But there's been a lot of good builds on this card. This is not one of them because there's hardly been a build. No build. I'm going with Jade Cargill. Krssi, who you got?
Jade, of course. Anna Jay is not going to take off this feud. Like, come on. I mean, this streak.
Yeah, easy day at the office for Jade. Look, let's be real here. As all respect to Thunder Rosa, Jade is their A champion. She is their A champion. Jade has single-handedly, through her own effort, broken through Tony Khan not allowing a whole lot of women's wrestling on TV with the baddie section, with her new faction.
Yes.
Jade is going to be a massive mainstream level star at some point. Tony needs to realize that and make her champ at the next pay-per-view, or maybe at All Out. Have her take on Thunder Rosa for unification. Jade comes away with that. She's got that thing, man. She's got the X factor. Yeah, of course. This is not even. She should sneeze and win this match, man. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
I absolutely agree. I've been saying that for months, that she needs her Goldberg moment. Goldberg winning the US and the world heavyweight title at the same time. You need Jade to have that. I want Thunder Rosa to have a real run, so maybe Full Gear or even next year Revolution have that happen. But I think there's another person who I want to see versus the AEW world champion, women's world champion at All Out, which brings us to our next match, the Women's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Finals, as it's going to be Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, up against Ruby Soho. Dr. Britt Baker defeated Maki Ito in the first round, then Toni Storm on Wednesday's Dynamite. Ruby Soho defeated the first ever AEW Women's World Champion, Riho, in the first round, and then defeated Chris Statlander last night on Rampage. So here we are, Owen Hart Cup Finals. Who you got in this one, Krssi?
This one is a hard one. I think they're gonna go more Ruby Soho than Britt.
I
'Cause if
have
you want to
to.
keep,
I
go
have
ahead.
to agree with you. I feel like the whole
You
point
have
of
to
this
keep her on.
pay-per-view
Yeah, yep.
has
Keep
been
her up.
about
Yeah.
revitalizing Ruby Soho. They heard the complaints about, Ruby Soho not being featured. She was the best part of the promos leading up to the
Yep.
tournament. She
Yep.
had the really good matchup with Riho, really good matchup with Chris Statlander last night. But honestly, after the reaction from last night, I think this match should be a double turn. You turn Britt Baker babyface, you turn Ruby
Mhm.
Soho heel, and have Ruby win to set up her versus the woman she eliminated to win the Casino Battle Royale 1 year ago at All Out when she debuted, Thunder Rosa, for the AEW Women's World Championship at All
Mhm.
Out 1 year from her debut. Steve, who you got?
Man, you guys make some good points. This is going to be a really interesting litmus test to see if Tony does what you just said, if he can sort of read the room and pull the trigger on that, because I don't know that would have been the plan. But given Ruby's reaction, she
Mhm.
needs to do something, and it's going to be
Right.
interesting to see if she could pull off being a bad guy. I think that would be the smart move. At the same time, I would have not a lot of confidence. My original pick was the power couple are going to win, Britt and Adam Cole. Adam Cole's
Right.
going to win.
Right.
Sorry, spoiler alert to whatever match is going to come up
Yeah.
next. But I think Adam Cole's going to win. And I'd be kind of surprised because Britt is kind of like Tony Khan's Charlotte. Like, you kind of never bet against Charlotte. But at the same time,
So
you
true.
gotta
So true.
you gotta do something with Ruby, and Britt can afford the loss. So, like, Larson and I have been going back and forth on this. I keep on insisting it's Britt. So it'd be kind of hypocritical for me at this point not to pick Britt, but I got a good feeling it's going to be Ruby. But like you said, Krssi, this is hard.
Right.
This is
This is
not an easy
hard.
one to
Yeah.
pick. Yeah.
Right. This is not. I would prefer Britt to win, but it's just the more so of the packaging of how you've done Ruby since she's been in. Is what been. This would be a year that she debuted. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All Out makes a year.
Okay. All
It
out.
would be September. So we're coming up on it. Yeah,
We're
it's been
coming
about
up
8
on it.
months.
So, but within that time frame, she hasn't really done anything that's like meaningful. Like it doesn't make. So this would be the thing that would probably help. Meaning the reason why you brought her in the first place, maybe.
Yeah.
She needs that big win. She's come up short at Grand Slam. She came up short in the
Right,
TBS
right.
title tournament.
Right,
It just
right.
makes sense for her to win this big one finally. So yeah, I hope, Steve, you're right that he reads the room and realizes that Ruby Soho turning heel might be the way to kind of solve everything. But
And get
you're
her
also
win, and
right
he's like,
about Britt Baker wins. LOL. She hasn't lost on an AEW pay-per-view since All Out 2020.
well, she's like she's the head of the division, she's the Charlotte of the
She's the
division,
Charlotte.
and we can't be mad at that. That's just how she has just been given to us. So why would we want her to lose during the pay-per-view? Like she's gonna probably get more cheers than the other. And like you said, do the turn, because if you get the turn, it will make more sense and make it more meaningful and make it exciting.
And it freshens up everybody because Britt's been this
Right.
character for a long time. And she came out with that Johnny Depp shirt on Rampage. So maybe that's a symbol that she's going to be doing the face turn, because apparently people like him, I guess.
But you mentioned it earlier, Steve, the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament finals. You got Adam Cole versus the
And this
ROH
one's even
TV
harder.
champion Samoa Joe. Joe defeated Johnny Elite in the first round and then defeated Kyle O'Reilly on Dynamite. Adam Cole defeated Dax Harwood, and arguably the best match the entire Owen Hart tournament, men's or women's, and then defeated Jeff Hardy 2 weeks ago. I'm going with Adam Cole in this one. He needs this win.
He needs this.
Speaking of winning on AEW pay-per-views, he's never won on AEW pay-per-views since he signed with the company. He lost that Full Gear in the 6-man Falls Count Anywhere match with the Young Bucks against Christian, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. He lost against Hangman Page at Revolution. He needs this win here. But who you got, Steve?
You got Jay Lethal out there and Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt just ready to spoil things for Samoa Joe.
Yeah. Yep.
This has the potential to be the best match on the card.
Yep.
But in the end, Adam Cole Bebe gets the win.
Yep. Okay. Same.
Unanimous, Krssi?
Unanimous. Yeah. Adam he's another one that needs this win. He since he's been there, yes, he's the draw, but like his wins and losses, there's more losses than wins. So you got to like make it make sense. And it's not for this title. So, Joe doesn't like get, buried or anything like that. So it works out in itself. And then I feel like the interference will help Cole win.
Yep.
Yep, makes sense to me. And this one has been the best buildup of any match on this card. It's going to be Wardlow going one-on-one with MJF. 3 years in the making, pretty much, since Wardlow debuted as MJF's bodyguard. Here we are, finally one-on-one. If Wardlow wins, he is released from his contract with MJF. If he loses, he is barred from ever signing on an AEW contract ever again. Steve, who you got?
Oh man, Wardlow all day long. This has been a killer story. I loved everything about the build. I loved all the challenges. Wardlow no selling the lashes. I thought that was a great spin on that concept. The cage match was efficiently told. It's Wardlow, man. Let's unleash the modern day Batista. Let's do it.
Yeah.
100% agree there. I think the bigger question is how many power bombs he's going to hit on MJF.
Oh, man, let's go for 10. Let's go for 10.
10. And do it to Sean Spears.
And have 10. Sean Spears right there watching it. Exactly.
Yes, that'd be great. Yep.
So we're all going for Wardlow, Krssi?
Wardlow, yep, for sure.
All day. Anarchy in the Arena. It's going to be 5-on-5. The Jericho Appreciation Society versus the Blackpool Combat Club of Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, as well as Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. This started after Revolution when the Jericho Appreciation Society was born, feuding with Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz, and then the Blackpool Combat Club got involved as well. This should be crazy. This should be a brawl. Who you got, Krssi?
I'm going the Jon Moxley, Brian, them guys.
Blackpool Combat Club.
Blackpool
Team
Combat.
Moxley,
There we go. Yep. Team Moxley, Blackpool. Those guys, they need to win this. They have to win.
Who you got, Steve?
This is the most lopsided match in the entire thing. What can we put the picture of this? Look at this. Jericho basically has two people. It's him and Garcia.
Right.
I'm sorry. Look, no offense to 2.0. No offense to the Magic Man, Medard, and Parker. Come on, Hager. Did you see who Hager was fighting when he was doing MMA? They brought dudes who look like me into the cage with him. Hager is not a threat to anyone. He hasn't had a match in I don't know how long. And then, but wait, put it back up. Look at the other side of this. You got the Blackpool Combat Club. They are the most protected guys in all of wrestling. Santana Ortiz are fantastic. And you have the most popular guy in the company, Eddie Kingston. This isn't even close. This should be a 2-minute squash match. Give me a break here.
Yep. It should be.
I kind of after that saying I kind of want to go with the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Wouldn't that be something else? If they somehow won this? Yeah.
A sympathy win. They have to win because they don't have anybody.
Because he's given us all the results the rest of the night that we want, and then he just does that to build up to blood and guts, because they're gonna do a blood and guts between this. So the heels, it would make sense for the heels to go over, but I'm from New York. Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz are from New York. I never go against New York. I'm going with Team Blackpool Combat Club as well. This one I think is going to be the show stealer, though. AEW World Tag Team titles up for grabs. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus defend against Team Taz's Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Legitimately, I think I won't argue with anyone who thinks any of these teams are going to win here. Who you got, Steve?
Man, my heart says Hobbs and Starks. That's my heart. But it's gonna the Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, when they lose those titles, it's got to be straight up. It's got to be 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, whatever. And so I get the feeling that everybody else cancels each other out, and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy walk away still tag champions, even though this has been like the longest nothing they can do with these guys makes them not feel like transitional champions. It's either going to be FTR or the Hardys is going to take it from them, but somebody bigger is going to take it from them. I feel like Jungle Boy, they need to send these guys to Ring of Honor or something once they do Ring of Honor, and have this guy talk a little bit, because I still get no sense of who this person is as a character. And it's been 3 years for Jungle Boy. The other guy's just a dinosaur, and that's fine. I know he's Luke Perry. I know. Yeah. And so like,
that's it. That's what you get from him, because he doesn't really speak. So, he has this long, luxurious hair from, it's just 90210s, juniors. And that's just what it is. It's okay. Cause I like the group. However,
yeah.
I need to know who he is.
I agree.
Is not making it work either.
I would love for it to be Keith Lee and Strickland, but let's be honest. I didn't even know they were ranked. They picked up all their wins on Elevation and Dark, apparently. And those kind of teams never win. I'd love for it to be them. But I love for it to be Team Taz. I've always been Team Taz, especially once they kick Brian Cage out of the group. I've always been Team Taz. So I'd love for it to be them. But I kind of feel like, because of the nature of the triple threat, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are going to squeak out another win. This is going to be a fantastic match. This is going to be a fantastic match. All sorts of great spots. But yeah, I don't know. I get the feeling it's going to be Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
This is one I don't mind being wrong.
Right.
Because I'm like,
there's no wrong answer.
I really want either of the challengers to win. Swerve
me too.
Swerve and Keith Lee, it would feel like, okay, now they're finally going to do something with them. Hobbs and Starks have not lost a tag team match in 542 days. The last time they lost a tag team match as a duo was Winter is Coming 2020. That stat was from Will Washington in his on Grab City's interview with Powerhouse Hobbs. They go with them then. Yeah, they've been very protected, but I'm gonna go with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, because once again they're in a three-way where they feel like they just been tacked on to somebody else's feud.
Yep.
So it seems like they are going to win, because I went against them in the last three-way and that didn't work out for me. So I'm going with them.
So you went with Swerve?
No, I went with the champs. I went with Jurassic.
The champs again? Okay. I don't think there's a wrong answer really for this particular match. I do want one of the challengers to win, because I like both. I love Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is just amazing. Team Taz.
He's the best.
They're the best. And then you got Swerve and you got Lee, and it's just like, dang, like this is a hard one. But I feel like they're gonna go into the route where Luke Perry's son and Luchasaurus will win. So, because they're gonna have to lose clean to one of the other guys, and then Steve made it where it's going to be the Hardys, and you got Christian. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff that's going to happen with those storylines. So I'm not saying I'm putting on my Vince hat, but I'm going to go with the champs to win. But I don't think anyone loses in this whole match.
I agree.
This is another one that I think is a foregone conclusion, but I'll ask anyway. AEW Women's World Championship is up for grabs. You got Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. We already addressed my issues with this whole story. It was very simple, and they made this convoluted, but I got Thunder Rosa winning, obviously. Krssi?
This is gonna be one of those matches that we didn't get the build up, but they're going to deliver for us on the show. 100%. Definitely going with the champ, Thunder Rosa, but these two ladies don't need really the build up, because they're just going to give us a hell of a wrestling match. They're going to wrestle their asses off.
I agree 100%. I think it'd be more interesting if Serena Deeb tapped out Thunder Rosa, but I don't see it happening.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not her first big match as the champ.
Yeah. Thunder Rosa's got to win this. I agree.
That's bad optics after she's only had 20 minutes on television since she won the title in March.
Yeah.
It's not good. And
My
this
goodness.
one is an absolute toss-up. You can't be wrong either way. The main event, the most unpredictable main event in AEW pay-per-view history, AEW World Heavyweight Championship up for grabs. Hangman Adam Page defends against CM Punk. Steve, who do you got?
Right now, I'd love to say Punk because it makes more sense.
Yep.
If it's not Punk, it's either going to be Punk wins and he goes a
Dirty
little
finish.
heel. He get a little heel. Yeah. If he cheats
Dirty
and he
finish.
wins this,
Dirty finish for
or
sure.
Hangman wins with a little bit of heel action as well.
Yep.
But I have a hard time visualizing Hangman losing the title, but at the same time, AEW needs another bump. They need more buzz. They need something that Sports Illustrated and ESPN is going to talk about.
Yep.
Hangman winning is not that. Punk winning is exactly
Definitely.
that.
Yep.
And I feel like it feeds into Hangman's story. So just do it. Pull the trigger on it. Absolutely. Punk wins. Punk wins.
I can't follow that. I'm 100% with Steve. Like, I think
Punk has
like,
to win. Yep.
They made it more of a mystery with that go home angle on Dynamite where, you could see Paige defending. And I think this is not going to be one-off match. I think they're going to have more than one match down the line, but you got to do CM Punk as your AEW World Champion before your United Center show for Forbidden Door.
Before, you have to.
Just
It's no
all the sense.
Yeah.
You guys are so smart. Y'all putting on y'all those create them hats. Y'all got them. Yeah.
Well, it's like 10:30 now, so now I'm a little clearer now.
He said that. He said hour 2. He's gonna get into it. But yes, I think we're all going for CM Punk, and that's all of the predictions. We got a couple of comments here in the live chat. Annika, we explained it before. It's just tell me why Hangman is angry. It's his insecurities. It's the fact that everybody
drinking, friend. He drinks too much.
No. He hasn't been drinking. When he drinks,
he
bottle his insecurities, but he hasn't been drinking in how long? It's been a while. So he's all the insecurities is coming out, and the fact that everybody and their mama's been telling us CM Punk is an asshole, but we still cheer CM Punk more than him. CM Punk got cheered more than the drunk cowboy in Texas with a pro-abortion shirt. That's the greatest accomplishment of his career.
Yep.
But he also, I think the shirt he got, he just did it as well because of the, the state as well.
And I love the big brain. Somebody put a meme out that Punk was wearing a mutant shirt, a Wolverine shirt. And the Wolverine has always been the anti-hero who's more popular than the good guy Cyclops. Cyclops is Hangman Adam Page. Wolverine is CM Punk. Big brain. That's just creating their own stories. I love it. Easter egg.
Yeah.
I think Punk's just a nerd and he likes the X-Men.
That too. That too.
Oh, yeah, lovely stuff. But yes, AEW Double or Nothing. That's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. You can get it on BR Live, Fight TV, and you can watch it along with the True Heels, hosted by Romeo, here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. We're going to start off at about 7 p.m. Eastern time with the buy-in, and we could talk about some more stuff going into the show before the show starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. So join Romeo and the crew tomorrow night. But that is all for True Heel Heat 177 switch up. We want to thank Steve so much. You were honestly one of our favorite guests. We got to talk about basketball.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to say anytime, but like maybe in another month or so I don't have to wake up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday again. But I'll be happy to come back if you'll have me.
Yes,
absolutely.
Thank you.
For sure. Please let the people know everywhere they can find you, sir, what you got going on. Let the people know because you're a great person to follow. I'll follow you, so everybody else should.
Oh man, I'm just gonna pull a Bret Hart and say, yeah, I'm on Google. Just put in Steve going in Ron, and I'm around. I'm around. You can find me wherever.
You got to shit on Goldberg too if you're gonna do a Bret Hart.
Yeah. Bill, he retired me, and he's not safe, so I don't know why he's in the Hall of Fame,
Wow.
That was a pretty good
That was
Broward.
a good
That was a
one.
great-
Oh, that's a good.
He's one of my favorites to impersonate. I love Brett. I love Brett.
Absolutely. And subscribe, Steven Larson's Going in Raw, one of the biggest wrestling YouTube channels out there. Wrestle Juice with Steve and his analysis on anything in professional wrestling. This man knows his professional wrestling. That's why we loved having him here on True Hill Heat. So definitely check him out. And Miss Krssi Luv, you got another podcast tomorrow morning at a time Steve will probably be asleep, but let the people know where they can find you on social media and what you got going on tomorrow.
You can find me tomorrow morning, 11:05 a.m. We are doing Serving Face and Hill. We are back for another episode with myself and Stephanie Hype. So I hope you guys can join us. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter at True Hill Krssi Luv. I am on IG and on Facebook as Krssi Luv _1. And just a shameless thing, when I started doing these whole podcast things, my first podcast that I listened to that I found that did wrestling, which I was like in a bubble, was you guys Going in Raw. So,
that's good. I'm glad.
yeah.
Hopefully it was a good episode.
It was not well, yeah. And then I was like, oh wow, there's so many episodes, and I have to now go back. But yeah, when this was maybe like 2016-ish. I don't
Okay,
remember.
all right.
Yeah. So I was when podcasts were like not as big, but someone that talks about wrestling. I was like, who talks about wrestling? No one likes really wrestling, but you know, you find other people, you find these things, and then I found you guys and other people and other parties, and that's how I listened to the podcast world.
Yeah, we did. We started like 8 years ago. I think in 2014 is when we started. So it's time has gone by so quickly. And yeah, we were like one of the first, not the first, but we were one of the first out there.
Exactly.
And now it's just everybody's got their own podcast, and I think it's absolutely awesome. And I love doing shows like this. So yeah, keep on doing it. And maybe I'll wake up tomorrow for the show you're going to be on. Maybe I'll wake up early.
Thank you. If not, you can always watch it on the channel. Appreciate
Perfect.
you.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly. On demand, as always.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone in the live chat who's joining us live. Great comments. Great show. You guys, thanks for coming, Steve. Take care, you guys, from Negro Buck. We got Frantic World with great live stream, guys. See you on the next one. And Fifth Generation Cardi with Steve is thoughtful and a beautiful man. Yes,
I don't know about all that. I don't know
Yeah.
about all
Yes,
that.
I don't know about all that.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. I will be back here on the YouTube channel True Hill Heat on Monday, 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time, to review AEW Double or Nothing with myself, Romeo, Jimmy Macaram, and Wrestle Talk's own Tempest. So we're gonna finish off Double or Nothing week with a big roundtable review on Monday. So I'll be back here. Then follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Hill Heat. For just $3 a month, you can support True Hill Heat even more. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. And of course, get your True Hill Heat gear at ProWrestlingTees.com/True Heels. Like this video, help out the video so much by sharing it on all your favorite social media platforms.
Yep.
Subscribe if you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel for much more content, and hit the bell to stay notified. For our special guest, Steve, thank you so much once again. For Miss Krssi Luv, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been True Hill Heat 177. Switch up. We are signing off until next time.
Later.
Yes.